Communication from the Chair.
Thank you very much. Good morning, honorable members. Good morning, honorable ministers and members of the press. Honorable members, first I wish to congratulate you all for your remarkable support and cooperation in making the event the State of the Nation address delivered by His Excellency, President of the Republic, on Thursday, the 17th of September, 2020, a success. In the same vein, I also thank the clerk, the entire staff of the National Assembly, and members of the task force for the support and commitment in ensuring that the event was successful. The success of the event is, of course, evident that they did well, individually and collectively. And I register my special thanks and appreciation to all of them. To the media and the public, as usual, we are always grateful. The support and partnership over the years have been very fruitful. Our sincere appreciation also goes to the media fraternity in particular for their continuous cooperation, which is crucial in reaching out to the masses whom we represent. Honorable members, before we commence the debate on the State of the Nation Address 2020 delivered by His Excellency, the President of the Republic, on Thursday, the 17th of September 2020, the Assembly will, as a matter of procedure, provided for under Clause 14 of Clause 2 of the Standing Orders, first consider the third reading of this Women's Enterprises Fund Bill 2020, followed by a continuation of the second reading of the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia. And on that note, thank you very much, Clerk. Can we proceed with the usual?
Correction and approval of records of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Wednesday, 16 September 2020.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Wednesday, the 16th of September 2020 is before us for consideration and adoption. Can an honorable member please move that the said record of votes and proceedings be considered and adopted? Yeah, honorable member for Jara West.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to move the motion that the records of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sittings of Wednesday, 16th September 2020 be corrected and adopted. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any seconder? Yes, honorable member for Jimara.
Seconded.
Thank you very much. It has been moved and seconded that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Wednesday, the 16th of September 2020 be adopted. Any issues or observations, corrections from honorable members? Two records have been circulated, the one for the 16th and 17th. So we start with on page 1. 16th. Any correction? You don't have a copy? Just address the table office and they will provide you with a copy. Thank you. Page 1? No. Page 2? The attendants can ensure that for your benefit, are you satisfied now? Thank you. Okay, page 3. Yes, Fonyi Jarol.
Thank you, Madam, for consistency purposes. My name Alhaj S. I don't use S as an initial, but the full Sankum, because S could mean any other name different from Sankum. So I would want them to maintain Sankum instead of writing S, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else on page 3? Page 3? Page 4? Sorry, excuse me. Page 4? Woolly East? You okay? Page 5. Page 5. Lower Fuladu. Thank you. Page 6. Seven. Yes, Woolly East.
Thank you. On the adjournment, first line, the assemblies do stand adjourned. We put an ED there. You seen it?
Kunda? Or was it Lower Nyomi? I saw a tag on my right-hand side. Okay, then. Adjournment. Anything more on 7? No? We're okay with 7. Page 8. Yes, Lower Fuladu. On 8.
Yes, on page 8. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. So, the ayes or noes have it. Which one is correct? Whether the ayes or the noes. Thank you.
East, are you okay?
Well, the last paragraph, this assembly now stands adjourned. I think if we are reporting, we just said this assembly was adjourned, instead of repeating what you have said. He's just repeating what you have said. It should be reporting. The assembly stands adjourned.
Didn't we adjourn till Thursday? I thought we said the assembly stands adjourned till Thursday.
No, he's saying now. The assembly now stands. You understand? The assembly now stands. You are saying that at that time, but today, the assembly just stood. You understand?
Yes, I understand, but isn't it correct that we are reporting what happened on that day?
Yes, you are reporting.
We are reporting what happened. No, I'm just asking, isn't it also the fact that this is a record, a report of what transpired on that day?
Yes, yes, I know. You know, you mentioned this assembly now stands adjourned. That's what you have said on that day. But when you are reporting now, you are not supposed to use now. You are mentioning today. This assembly was adjourned because it was done before, not now. You understand? Mm-hmm. Yes. There's no need to using now.
No? Okay. Thank you. It has been moved and seconded that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Wednesday, the 16th of September 2020, be adopted with amendments. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Clerk, can we proceed with the next item?
Records and correction of records of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Thursday, 17 September 2020.
Honorable members, the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Thursday, the 17th of September 2020 is before us for consideration and adoption. Can an honorable member please move that the said record of votes and proceedings be considered and adopted? Yes, Jara Central, thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to move that the correction and approval of record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Thursday, 17 September 2020 be corrected and approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Any seconder? Yes, Foni Bondali.
I rise to second the motion.
Thank you very much. It has been moved and seconded that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Thursday, the 17th of September 2020 be adopted. Now, any issues or observations from honorable members?
Question.
The records have also been circulated. Yes, honorable member for Woolly West.
Honorable Speaker, the names of members, are they reading alphabetically or they are reading helter-skelter? Because my name keeps on floating between 9, 30-something, 20-something. What is that? I'm asking whether our names are written alphabetically or helter-skelter. Because my name keeps on floating between 9, 10, 20, 30-something, and, you know, what is that? Well, they should. For consistency purposes, they should be reading alphabetically.
Consideration. But I am being informed by the table office that we cannot be consistent because at the moment, we'll look into it, as I said, but that honorable members come in, not everybody gets in at the same time. And I also see the table office clerks going around taking record of honorable members present. We've taken notes and it will be looked into. Thank you. Can you start? We'll start with page 1, 17th of September. Page 2. Honorable Member for Bakau, page 2.
I'm taking you back to page 1. The Honorable Member for Joshua was not here on Thursday, and he is on the attendance sheet as present.
It will be corrected. Thank you. That's 15.
Honorable.
It's number
Speaker,
15?
Speaker.
Joshua? Yes? Thank you. Yes, Lower Salon.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On the attendance, number 26, Suleiman Sao, Central Badibu, wasn't here.
Honorable members, 2 honorable members, Lower Salum and Ilyasa. Usually I find it difficult to pick up your words, but not, it's okay, the table office has captured it. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Honorable nominated member, it was the same, okay. Any more corrections on page 2? Yes, Sabasanya.
Yes, number 41, Alaji Hitso, was also absent on that day.
Lower Nyomi. Are you on page 3 or 2?
Communication from the chair. The third line of the paragraph. If I may just take a snap of it. The nation on the condition of the Gambia. It should be conditions. Conditions of the Gambia.
We'll check the wordings of the Constitution. Thank you. Honorable Member for Jimara.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think Honorable Member for Fonyi Jaro raised something very important concerning about the way they wrote his name, Alaji S. Jamme, but then it should be Alaji Sankun Jamme for maybe next time. Yep.
For Bakau.
3, where you have the following National Assembly member seat was vacant. I think page 3, yes. Where you have the following National Assembly member seat was vacant. Honorable Member for Nyamina West. I think the reason of the vacancy should be indicated.
This should be sorted out once and for all. Thank you. Because it keeps on coming up every sitting. Any more on page 3? Page 4, can we? Page 4? No, okay. Page 5, Gully East.
The first paragraph, second line, the will, Excellency will, should be changed to would. We are reporting.
Page 5, continuation. Yes, Jara East.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Page 5, the last paragraph where you have, finally, the Honorable Speaker thanked the Honorable Deputy Speaker, Office of the Clerk, task force members, and all those who in their various ways contributed immensely to making the event a success, and pray that the Almighty Allah continued to bless and guide us all. Continued. Thank you.
Honorable Member for Woolly East, I'm sure you'll prefer this sentence to the previous one contained in the proceedings of 16. I said, I'm sure you will prefer this. where it says, Honorable Speaker, adjourn the assembly. Instead of now, yes. Thank you. Members, we've also taken note of the observations, and they will be addressed in due course. Yes. Thank you. It has been moved and seconded that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Thursday, the 17th of September 2020 be adopted with amendments. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. So the ayes have it. Thank you very much, honorable members. Clerk, can we proceed?
Bills, Standing Order 7220 and 75, third reading of the Gambia Women's Enterprise Fund Bill 2020 by the Honorable Minister for Women and Social Welfare.
Thank you very much. Honorable members will recall that the consideration stage of the Gambia Women's Enterprise Bill, Enterprise Fund Bill 2020 was concluded on Monday, the 14th of September 2020. Accordingly, today is appointed day for the third reading in accordance with Standing Order Clause 75. I will therefore now invite the Honorable Minister for Women, Children and Social Welfare to move a motion for the third reading of the bill entitled the Gambia Women Enterprise Fund Bill. Honorable members will recall that we had completed the consideration stage, and the bill was supposed to have been circulated, the neat version, which I hope has already been done, and everybody has a copy, because once it is passed, we cannot touch it anymore. But Honorable Minister, before I allow you, let me allow Honorable Member for Central Badibu, then maybe the chair will come. I saw your tag. Sorry.
Concern is already addressed. They said it's in the pigeonholes. So I wanted to ask for the bill, the neat version, but they said it's circulated already.
Banjul North.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. As you indicated, the neat version is supposed to be before us, but some consultations were done during the weekend to ensure that it is clean. It captures everything that was discussed and agreed by the whole House, Committee of the whole House. But I've still noticed some missing things, and I think it's important, as you've indicated, for us to do the corrections now before the Minister comes. If we go to page 7, and the advice also, when we have these things, it's important that they come and place it on our tables rather than pigeonholes, because I think that's the problem that most of them are having. Some of them are not of the habit of going to their pigeonholes when they come in the morning. So when we go to page 7.
Honorable, what I have suggested to the table office, I'm sorry, the office of the clerk, that I think it is only fair that in future, after these amendments are done, at least we give 2 days to enable all the corrections or amendments to be adequately captured. But I think half a day is really too short to ensure between printing, because you may print and observe that there are still further omissions and which need to be corrected. So I don't know, under this present situation, whether it would not be better if we push this or adjourn it and allow everything to be tidied up, because in any event, you need a clean version as agreed between the ministry and the committees. That's just my proposal, because I didn't know. For me, I thought that everything was tidied up, you know. But we are being told that there are still some issues to be tidied. And we thought we had finished the committee stage. But there were some omissions, not captured here, but discussed at the committee stage. Am I right? If I get you, Honorable Banjul North?
No. Well, these are just, one can call them minor. The missing ones were, like I said, in our consultations, we are taking up and then factored in the final document. But these are just numberings and some wordings in terms of, yes, formatting is part of it. But I don't know whether other members of the committee would want us to defer it to tomorrow, or we proceed with it today. But for me, it's not a problem. I think we can proceed with it if they don't. Well,
the committee members are here. You have the
co-chair is suggesting that we move it for tomorrow.
Be guided by your observations or your advice. Yes, honourable member for. Yes.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. We are really operating according to Standing Order 72, paragraph 20, that when a bill has been amended at consideration stage, the whole text of the bill together with a revised memorandum of objects and reasons, amendment shall, if practicable, be printed. But if this is not practicable, the text of every clause or schedule amended and every new clause or new schedule added shall be printed, published, and circulated to members in advance of the final stage. So, Honorable Speaker, this is the final document that we are voting on, is the law. So it is prudent that we clean it up. It's the end. Before the end of this session is simply coming and voting on what we have already processed. So I would propose that we push it, postpone it, and allow that process to take place between the committee, the minister, and our staff, so that we clean it up and circulate the copy that we will finally consider to be the law.
I think, Honorable Sala, that is exactly what I said, or I suggested. Am I right? Yeah, that was exactly what I said. And I said I will leave it with the committees. So in that case, we will suspend the deliberation on this bill, that is the third reading, until things are sorted out, because we need to get it printed, final and neat copy, printed, circulated to members well in advance. We still have time just to go to the third stage. So, Honorable Minister, I'm sure the committee and also the table office will get back to you so that you can get the bill finalized with printed and circulated well in advance to honorable members for them to ensure that everything has been adequately captured. On that note, we'll push the continuation until later. Thank you very much. Yes, Clerk, can we continue then with the next item on the order paper?
Bill, Standing Order 67-1, second reading of the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia 2020 Promulgation Bill 2020 and the general merits and principles.
Thank you. I just wish this is a continuation. Honorable members will recall. Yes. Honorable members will recall that the second reading of the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia 2020 Promulgation Bill 2020 was done on Wednesday, the 16th of September 2020, and the debate commenced then. Today, we will continue with the debate on the general merits and principles of the said bill. Therefore, in accordance with Clause 67, Subclause 1 of the Standing Orders, I will open the floor for continuation of the debate on the general merits and principles of the bill. And any honorable member who wishes to take part and whose name was not recorded can raise his or her constituency tag, and I will do the recording accordingly. But before giving any honorable member the floor again, I wish to strongly emphasize or lay emphasis on Standing Order Clause 67(1), that the debate shall strictly be on the merits and principles of the bill. And I will not hesitate to call to order any honorable member who deviates from this. For now, we are not debating the details of the bill. And furthermore, after the debate on the general merits and principles, a vote shall be taken on the second reading as required by Section 2262B and 4B of the 1997 Constitution. A vote of not less than 3/4 of all members is required before the bill can proceed to the next stage of the process. This is a constitutional requirement for all honorable members to kindly take note. And on that note, thank you very much. And I'll, as I said, open the floor for continuation. I already had a list, so I want to continue from where we stopped. Yes, I've noted Fonny Breffet. I just want to confirm whether you were originally on the list. Fonny Breffet, yes, I've taken you down. Honorable Member for Janjamburi. Thank you.
Can I continue? Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the floor. I just want to remind or can I remove the mic? The mask? Okay. I just want to remind myself and remind my fellow National Assembly members. One of the reasons why the entire Gambia decided to go in for a new constitution. First of all, if I stand here today and hold this constitution, I don't think I'm holding the right constitution, because this has been doctored more than 50 times. So this is not the right constitution. Secondly, Willie West has said it here, that in this constitution, the Gambia was not defined. So there are a lot of salient issues that are not in this. And at the time of when the act was coming to this parliament, I don't think there was anyone here who would have gone against this Constitution. Madam Speaker, we are informed, according to the report, that the process they took, that we asked them to do, because the act was approved by us here. So in other words, we asked the CRC to prepare this document. And how did they do it? They informed us that they went according to the act, which was prepared by the executive and sent to us for approval. They informed us that they had 263 focus group discussions all throughout the Gambia, which involves more than almost 8,000 people individually. And a lot of processes that are all mentioned here. Madam Speaker, they also informed us the first 3 months of when they started work, they reviewed the 1965, 1970, and 1979 constitutions. Unfortunately, I would agree with some of my honorable colleagues that I think the Kenyan ones should have been included here so that when you quote from it, it can be valid. But it is not. That's unfortunate. Again, we are being informed that they have consulted, position papers were given to them by 31 NGOs. 23 departments, ministries, and agencies. 8 religious organizations. I don't even know that we had 8 religious organizations in this country. No.
Okay, you want to observe?
Yes, I want to make just clarification. I don't know whether you remember. Honorable Speaker, if you look at page 217 of the report, it mentions references. References. Page 217. And if you go to page 219, item 30 and 31, 32, 33, 34, you will see the Ghana Citizenship Act.
With you, can you just refer me to the relevant?
Yeah,
I miss your pages.
Is the report,
okay.
report of the Constitutional Review Commission.
Okay.
On
the
the
one
draft.
that I have is the, I'm using the gazetted copy, that's why.
Okay, no, not the copy itself, but the report. Yes, the report, page 217, has references. And if you go to page 219, it mentions many constitutions. 30, Ghana Citizenship Act, and 31 is Ghana Constitution. 32, Malawi Citizenship Act. 33, Malawi Constitution. 34, Kenya Constitution. Well, in academia, what you really do is make references. Anytime you have literature review, you will make references so that nobody can allege that you have plagiarized.
Thank you. Thank you for the rectification. I have not reached to that portion. Maybe that's why I didn't see it. And we are informed that 10 international governmental organizations put in their position papers. 98 individuals, which any one of us could have done. In fact, I want to say this, Madam Speaker, that National Assembly members had the opportunity to have met with CRC on numerous occasions. I stand to be corrected, but I think they had meetings in every district of this country. And some of us here had more than one district in their constituencies. So the opportunity to have met them was numerous, but we did not. The National Assembly was consulted through the right committee, and I think, if I'm right, they sent in their the position paper. Four educational institutions sent in their position papers. 98 individuals. Again, we could have been among, any one of us could have written a position paper, and I'm sure some probably might have done that. And finally, 3 political parties. All this listing was done by Gambians, which really tells us that this constitution was very consultative and participatory. This does not the least mean that I don't also have my objections. Madam Speaker, if I want to enumerate what I also have comments on this, my number one thing would be the citizenship. I agree that Gambians should open up and allow other people to be registered as Gambians. But we are saying, we are not refuting it, but let it be in the right manner. Let it be in the right manner. Go and do the neutralization or whatever in the right manner. That's all. That's all we are asking for. So I think that portion of citizenship should have been more elaborated. That's my feeling. And I think at one time, here it was either at committee level or at the plenary that we said the president at least should be coming here twice every year. Beginning of the year, to highlight what his government has planned. At the end of the year, to come and tell us what they have achieved, what they have not achieved, why they have not achieved. Humble opinion that where you have term limit for president, for National Assembly, for councillors, the chieftaincy is left wide open. If you elect a 20-year-old as chief, and supposedly he is to live for 100 years, he will be chief for 80 years. And we have seen numerous times where chiefs are not functioning. They are sick in their room, and their kids are running the affairs of the district. We have seen that. So it's my other belief that the chieftaincy and the alcaldieship should also, for democratic purpose, have term limits. And we were all happy that certain appointments should be coming here for vetting. Yes, under normal circumstances, this is what is happening in a lot of countries. But it is my feeling that if the president selects somebody, nominates somebody for the National Assembly to approve, I think the National Assembly should also be consulted when he is being dismissed. Not to take permission from them, but at least give them the reasons why you are dismissing that person. But that is not there. It's also not in the Constitution. And finally, the commission reports. Commissions are, the acts are being approved by this National Assembly. And what normally happens, we have seen just recently when commissions have been summoned and we approve them and we don't even know what the report contains. I think there's a flaw there also. But all this I'm saying are my personal opinions. Is this the opinion outside? Is this the opinion even inside here? I don't think so. Or it may not be. So based on that, I don't think it will be fair for me to stand here to say I'm going against the Constitution because I have my personal objections on certain parts of the Constitution. So I am again advising myself and my fellow NAMs, a lot is at stake. 164 million had been spent to produce this. 164 million. I would have been very happy if they had given that to agriculture so that we buy equipment for the farmers. But no, it had been spent to produce this. $115. No?
1.6.
Okay, let it be 100 million. Let it be 100 million, not 160. Let it be 100 million. I think 100 million plus the time and the energy spent on this. I was thinking, probably if anybody is to object to this, it should be the people themselves. The people who were consulted, the people whose ideas are in this, should be the people who would say, yes, we disagree, because this is not what we had agreed when you came here. So we are rejecting it. That's my humble opinion. Today, after these debates, the onus is left onto us. If this passes, it's the Gambian people that will win. If it fails by us, I think we will not be in the good books of the people. Because, Madam Speaker, these days, a lot has been said. A lot is going on since yesterday, after today, on this Constitution. So there is a definite need for us to rethink. This Constitution, if it comes to, even after the referendum, any portion of it that you don't like, you can bring it back to the National Assembly to change it. It's not a Bible, it's not a Quran that you can say you cannot touch it. So this is why I am appealing to my fellow NAMs. Let's reconsider our positions. Yes, there are one or two things that we may have objections on in this Constitution. But we must always remember that it is your personal opinion about it. And your personal opinion, if it does not coincide with what was told to the CRC when they went to the people, I don't think the CRC would do a good job by putting your personal opinion here and leaving out the opinion of the people. So once again, Madam Speaker, I appeal for us to reconsider our positions and pass this constitution. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Ilyasa.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me the floor. Before I'll go further, we have heard or you read and we hear so many opinions from CRC. So now what we should do now is to establish facts. That's what we should do. Madam Speaker, when I read this constitution, I did draft. I was highly convinced that this is one of the best constitutions forever. And Madam Speaker, I was very disappointed to hear that most of the NAMs were saying that this is a carbon copy. Madam Speaker, let them I'll ask them. And also, I'll inform the National Assembly that there was only one original, which God had created, that's Adam. The rest were carbon copies. And I was even happy when I heard from you that you hardly understand my language. I was happy. But this is how my father speaks. So I was very much happy to hear from you. But now, even if I point out that among MPs saying that well, you are not a carbon copy of your father, how does that person feel it? Uncomfortable. The CRC, they did a wonderful job. Because if you could allow me, if I refer you their report, page 32 of the report, if you could allow me to read. 97. The CRC, they have contacted about 874 people, took part face to face. And out of that, 818 individuals were participated face-to-face interview. Out of that, 56 individuals volunteer to go and see CRC express their view. So, for that being the case, Madam Speaker, to be quite honest, this constitution is not for witch hunting for anybody. Because the people who vote you in were asked by the CRC and they told them their view. And this is where they want them to govern them. The people who vote for you. They want them to govern you the way, in the manner, CRC has collected from them. So there's no reason why people are saying that this is a common copy from Kenya. It's under shame. You can't be perfect. Until and unless, Madam Speaker, you collect ideas from people. From there, you'll be able to govern people. Otherwise, you're going to be a good leader. Madam Speaker, and I have no doubt on this constitution, only few remarks that I will point it out during the committee stage, that the rights that of women, and qualification, and nationality, and time limit. And Madam Speaker, I think it is not even necessary for us to debate on time limit. Let's try to recall the past. We are once against the First Republic and the Second Republic. Because of what? Overstay. So at least to punish yourself, Madam Speaker, and to be godly, and to punish yourself, and to be sincere, Madam Speaker. If you are here to, for the interest of the nation, not for your own interest, at least you should accept inclusive, Madam Speaker. May I remind my fellow citizens, during that 3 years demonstration, they were not succeeded simply because the Constitution says that the president should stay for the 5 years, not 3 years. That's why we are unable to stay at this time. Let me remind these people again. Why is this man, the ex-president of Nigeria, Jonathan, only served only 4 years? And he's the highest ex-president in Nigeria. About Nelson Mandela. After serving for about 26 years in jail. But he was there to fight for freedom. But why are they even greedy? Questioning for about 15 years. Why? And on my final note, Madam Speaker, I aspire to Holy Quran as a pure Muslim. If this constitution is failed, the last constituency and myself, I'll point my finger to the President. Honestly speaking, if this constitution happens to fail, and they will enjoy it as everybody, it's this year. Because according to speak, what I heard, we talk about the election, but there was no emphasis on this constitution. And then that might stand. It's one of the best constitutions so far. My point is that it's women's right. I'll talk about it later. But before I take my seat, Madam Speaker, if the National Assembly members refuse to endorse this constitution, the future will tell. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Funi Jarol.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. If I'm to start first with the issue on the table discussed, I would say that this is a conspiration against the 1997 Constitution, and which, may I assure you, that it will not work. Okay. Honorable Speaker, going through the document, with consultation with my people, who through them I am here as a National Assembly member, we went through the document, and what we came out with is that there are many irregularities, many loopholes that needs to be looked into for whatsoever. You know, we cannot be fooled twice as a country. I mean, we have to be very careful. It is this 1997 Constitution that has made you and I and the President to be what we are today. Because we were all sworn to it. And up till date, it is that document that the government is still functioning on. So, while you repeat, we can make amendments, go through into some of the necessary or unnecessary things that we think are not fit to be there. We may change. Saying we have spent 116 million, I mean, that's nothing to me, because it's all about life. This is all about governance. This is why sometimes when you are taking up things, you have to be very careful and study it thoroughly. Don't just say because I am in power or I am over you, so I have to do whatsoever. Most of us here, we are opposing the coalition government. And you are the very people who came up with that coalition selection to get this one there, president. And now we are saying no, because of certain, weaknesses that are prevailing. So should we also allow going through this document, the same thing to happen? I have my reasons, as I said. Now, by the way, if I may refer and if you may allow me, chapter 8 of the draft bill on section 84, page 37, on political parties. Now, if you go to subsection 2, G and H, to my people, ensure that, like G says, ensure that at least 10% of candidates for election to the National Assembly are youth. But how are we going to be sure of this? Maybe in an area where maybe you don't have that youth participation in politics, at least to give you that number in percentage as a political party, then what are you going to do? And G, H says, K rather says, publish to the public annually their audited accounts within 6 months of the end of the financial year, failing which the independent boundaries and electoral commission may deregister the party. When that public did not sponsor your party, or the public is not the group that is sponsoring your party, only the militants, why can't that be in the Congress, where you tell your people how you spend the party's money, rather than the public? It's not like a government where everybody's monies are put into, but for parties, not everybody's monies are put into. It is only those people who are in the party who contribute to the welfare of the party. So it is important to let that people know. But the entire nation, meaning you are revealing your secrets. And every life needs secrecy. So to us, this will be very important if it is taken to the Congress. Now you move to, again, on section 85. Section 85, here on subsection 2. Madam Speaker, the executive authority vested in the President includes upholding the values and principles of this Constitution and all other laws validly, and you underline that, enacted by the National Assembly. So do the CRC want to tell us that whatever we enact here are not validly enacted? So the word validly, to me, should not be there. So if you are to maintain that validity, meaning then the National Assembly has not, enacting, issues that are valid. So to us, we forget about validity or validly, and then say, and all other laws enacted by the National Assembly. Simple. Honorable Speaker, to be honest with you, I know many people are talking. You go to the media, go to ghettos, anywhere, people are talking about this issue. And you have to be honest. We are all represented by people, or we are representing people, and it is these people who put us here. So people have different opinions. So let no one seize us to say, because I'm saying no to it, so I'm a bad Gambian. If you think that is right on your side, that's your opinion. But my people who brought me here are saying that let me not see that these documents should be something that I should agree to. And we have our reasons. There are many reasons here, if time will allow me to come up. Okay? So may I refer you again to Section 89, subsection 2, which reads, the address by the President shall relate to matters concerning the state of the nation and may include previous, current, and future policies of the country. May. So it is not mandatory. He can say what has happened past or not. And we would want to know what the President has been doing in the past. Because that present situation, you are telling the people what you have done, what your achievements are or were. But now if you say may, that is not mandatory. He may, or he or she may, or may not. So, but if you should say shall include previous, which is very true, shall include previous. The President should tell us what achievements, his or her government had achieved. And then again, 97. If we can go to 97, Honorable Speaker.
You avoid the details for the time being.
Pardon?
You can deal with the specific sections, but just the general principles of it. Let's try to avoid the details for the time being.
Yeah, but the way I think, because I'm getting from the bill. So I think I'm on the right track. So, I said page 97, or before 97, can we see 94? On page 42, disqualification for election as president. Let's see C and D. Our concern here is the gross misconduct. Gross misconduct. And D, terminated. Now, to us, when your service is terminated, it's different from when you are dismissed. Because termination goes with benefits. So somebody whose service is terminated, if you want to say that person will not be qualified to stand as a president, you cannot understand that. So maybe unless you buttress and explain it to us to understand, we are saying to maybe make the sentence or the phrase or clause correct is subject to subsection 2A has during any period of service in a public office or a private sector in the Gambia being dismissed or dishonesty or immoral conduct, something like that. But when to say I am terminated, what if I am terminated but I am not, it's not because of my misconduct or my immorality caused my dismissal. So am I not qualified to stand as a president candidate? So I want you to help me to let my people understand that person. And on section 97, page 44, procedure of election of president. This place is very, we have to study this place very thoroughly. Like it says, if I may read, 97, 1, 2, 3, 4, especially 4, where it stated that at the first election, more than 2 candidates received equally the highest number or second highest number of valid votes. The candidates who received the highest number and second highest number of valid votes shall participate in the second election unless any of them withdraws his or her participation. Like, for example, this is a mathematical work. Like, you have 5 presidents, 5 candidates. That's 2 for the election. And maybe A got 36, B 28, C 28, 5E, sorry, D 5, and E 3. Sum that up, you have 100. You go to the second round. Now it is A, B, and C, because they kept bracket, went for the second round. And there you have 33, A got 33, B got 35, and C got 32. So here, by the Constitution, you should have 50 plus. By looking at the maths calculation, the second person who got 35 in the second round did not got 50 plus 1. So I want you to explain to us, how is this man qualified to be the president when at the first round, the first got 36. There he is not considered. You went to the second round, and then you have somebody who got 35, and that man is chosen as president. So I want you to explain it to us to understand. Okay? And then
I don't like interrupting honorable members when they make their interventions. But as I said earlier on, can we just deal with the the merits and the principles? It appears as if you are going into the details to the extent of even doing some mathematical calculations. I stand to be corrected, or Sandu is not here. You can broaden your arguments to cover a large scope, and then it will be understood. Because the sections are there, we can all read. And
anyway, Tobai.
Just a second, let me learn. Honorable Serekunda, please. Let me just, yeah. Are you with me? Are we together?
Yes, I'm with you, I'm with you.
All right, if you can, please.
Okay.
Can you respond? Honorable Serekunda is drawing your attention. I think he wants, I don't know what.
Clarification? Well, I hope the honorable member is guiding us properly in terms of the interpretation of what he is saying. What this seems to be saying is that if you have the person 35 and the second position you have 2 people having 33, then you have a problem there. All 3 are there. One is first, the other 2 are second. So if the other 2, one drops, you can still continue. Otherwise, all of them will have to participate. So I don't know, what are you guiding us? What is?
No, what I'm trying to say here
is about the details for the time being.
Now, what I just want here for the minister to explain, for me to understand, is this is the calculation that I came out. Because I said first round, you have 2 brackets, with one leading the scores. Now going for the second round, There now, you don't have brackets, but you have 33, 35, 32. And that's why, according to this constitution, the elections stops there because there's nobody that has given up for the honor. Now, in this event, how are you going to go up again? Where there is nobody amongst these people who has plus 51. This is what I want to understand. And that's why the election stops. Are you following me? Yes. Yes. No, the minister. I'm not talking to... Okay. Honorable Speaker, as I said earlier, the 1997 Constitution should have been looked into for amendments, and I'm even more disappointed when one of my fellow members here stood to say there were many allegations against that 1997 Constitution. It was a soldier constitution, it was an APRC constitution, you name it. But where are the people? For 22 years, a document. And the National Assembly has been existing up till today. There is no challenging except when this time came up to say, let's review. Some said it here, no need to review it, no need to get another new one. Can't we go through and see how best we can make some changes or bring in those that were deleted and see, so that we'll have at least not that much cost, as we are saying, because I think it's going to be lesser cost than what we now expecting. And let me tell you, it is not also bad that you send your child to the shop to buy you something that you want. That child went to the shop and did not come with what you want. What do? You ask the child to go back and get what you want. So if the same comes, this constitution has come. We have asked these people to give us what the Gambian people want, and in turn, it did not happen in the way we wanted. Obviously, we have to ask them to go back and bring in something that we are looking for. So it is not bad. It is only when maybe you don't care about whether the child has done right or wrong. You don't care about it, so you will not worry. But for us, we've sent CRC to bring us or to give us as expected, and it is not done in that right way. So what do you want us to say? Go and redo it properly. We continue on our 1997 Constitution. We amend it, see how best we can put things together, because it is for the whole Gambia. I mean, for 22 years, it's not 22 days. And we have seen what they have been doing. So if that constitution, it is the people, in fact, what I sometimes say is it's the people who face the constitution, not the constitution that faces the people. Because we are the people who do the works or the instructions of the constitution. So if we fail to do so, then it means we are failing our own selves. So this is what happened. And let people not fear. Because others would say, yes, if you retain the 1997 Constitution, Babil Mansa will come, and when that happens, many people will run away. Who is Babil Mansa? Who will make people to run away? Is he not a human being like you and I? So, let's see what benefits the Gambia and what can
Madam Speaker,
forward.
The member is deviating.
Making an observation. You have to be clear what you want.
Yes, observation.
Observation, Honorable Member for Fonyi Jaro M. Yes,
no, and in fact, he has even followed the rules.
You are not allowing...
No, I don't allow him. So, in short, Madam, and if you go to the judiciary, and before there, the National Assembly Service commission, if you look at it thoroughly, why inviting other people to come and interfere in our own, administration? Like, creating 3 people, something like that, if I can quote it rightly. Getting some 2 females to be part of the commission. And if you look at the judiciary, the judicial commission, they are comprises of mainly of they are all judicially minded people.
Are those not details? Considered, are the details?
No, Madam,
the number of. You have to
understanding.
be able to distinguish between generality and details.
But this is what I'm trying to put to you. But then I'm only just, if you don't want me to give my consent, well, I mean, I don't know then what kind of a democratic system is this. Anyway, on a serious note, the parliament, we have to be very serious, because otherwise the legacy that we want to come up will make us one of the worst parliament so far, since from the creation of parliament in the Gambia. So we have to be very careful and be very honest to our people. This is the opinion of my people, that this 2020 constitution is a conspiration. It's conspiracy constitution against the 1997 constitution. So it will not work. And you underline that it will not work. So I thank you.
Honorable Member for Funi Berefet.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Berefet, you're quite right. Madam Speaker, thank you very much. To begin with, let me seize this opportunity to thank the CRC for doing a good job. I do appreciate what they did. However, it's my responsibility also to look at their work in detail as a representative of the people. And it's important also to reflect the minds, the ideas, and the ideology of the people I represent. Madam Speaker, a lot of issues that I want to raise have already been raised by my colleagues, and as a result, I don't want to take too much of time or to be able to repeat them. However, I want to pick on 2 issues, in addition to ones that are already raised, to bring that to the light of this General Assembly. That's the issue of the judiciary. I think the issue of the judiciary, that doesn't mean to say that I am downplaying their importance. Of course, they're equally very, very important, like any other institution. But my observation has indicated that there's kind of preference being given to the judiciary, and I will tell you why. That's the first thing is their retirement benefits. And if I just quote from what I've summarized, a retired Superior Court's pension increases as the salary of a serving Superior Court equally of the same level increases. If this is applicable to all other institutions, I am okay. But if it's not, to me, it's judiciary bias. And this also displaces economic burden on our already a fragile economy. The second issue, Madam Speaker, is judiciary budget. And let me first
point of order, please. Yeah. Opaplodu.
Can you, sorry, quote the relevant?
Yes, unless I am not.
Point of order. Which
okay,
authority?
Point of order is okay.
Just quote your relevant section
23.
And go ahead and
Clause 23 of the standing orders. Madam Speaker, no, unless I am not understanding, members are going into clauses of the Constitution and trying to lay their concerns. If that is the case, we cannot stop anybody from going into the Constitution.
Observation, Madam Speaker.
And I am on a point of order.
Point of
observation.
No.
Honorable members.
Point of observation, Madam Speaker.
Could he refer us to the relevant point, please?
No.
What is the relevant provision or
Honorable members, please I can assure you that I will try to conduct only one session.
Honorable Speaker, we're asking for the...
No, I'm not going to entertain. We are not going to have 2 sessions. Neither are we going to have dialogue. Honorable members have the right to intervene, but let us do it procedurally. We cannot be shouting from one side of the assembly to the other, talking at the same time. And we, in fact, it's not even permissible.
Exactly.
We cannot do that.
So
let us exercise decorum. Anybody who wants to raise an objection, a point of order is entirely at liberty to do so. Just cite the relevant provision. We will see if it is applicable or not.
I have cited
Alternatively, if it is an observation, if the honorable member who is on the floor allows you, fine, we will proceed accordingly. But what we should all avoid as responsible and matured honorable members, let us not be interrupting each other.
Thank you.
We can all listen and see if we are on course. If we are not on course, we just raise an objection.
Exactly.
It's as simple as that.
Thank you.
But before you proceed, can you just... Honorable member for Upper Fuladu.
Thank you, Madam
You
Speaker.
referred to which clause?
I just want, it's nothing to do with what he's saying. I just want to know, come on, guys, don't be silly, man. I have referred to the clause, no, section 23 of the standing orders. Yeah? I have. Listen, guys, have decorum. Please.
Honorable member for Cantora, if you want to address the chair, you can ask for the floor to address the chair, but we cannot be having side meetings, please. Honorable member for Upper Fuladu is on the floor.
And I will take this advantage now to warn the honorable member.
Madam Speaker.
Please,
okay,
no.
Thank you.
No.
Thank
Honorable
This
member
is violating the rule of the parliament, Madam Speaker. This is violating the rule of the assembly.
Unless you don't want to proceed with your...
I want to, yes.
Then go ahead. Otherwise, I'll give the floor to somebody else.
Thank you. My point is you have raised it time and time again to remind members that we should not go into the details of...
Point of order.
Madam Speaker.
Point of order.
This is violating the rule of the parliament.
Madam Speaker, point of order. Point of order.
Madam Speaker, let the member confine himself. You said point of order. You cannot call the correct
point of order.
Clause.
Shut up.
You don't know.
Shut
but
up.
You don't know. You sit down. Don't try to be here to be disturbing people, distracting people's attention. Madam Speaker, that cannot be continued entertaining. You don't know this is front of that every time you'll be distracting people when they are making their deliberation. Madam Speaker, please be patient.
Ask for the floor.
Be patient, Madam Speaker.
Ask for the floor. You have not asked for the floor. And as I said, we are not shouting. We're not going to entertain any shouting. Anybody who wants to raise any issue is at liberty to do so, but it has to be done according to laid down procedure, period. Yes, honorable member for Lower Badibu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise on a point of order on the standing order 18th. Any member deviating from these standing orders. That 18, these standing orders may be immediately called to order by the Speaker or by any other member. Rising on a point of order, a member rising on a point of order in accordance with standing order 32(1)A, permissible interruption, shall direct attention to the point he or she decides to bring to notice and submit the same to the Speaker for decision. My point of order here is, the honorable member for Upper Fuladu raised a point of order without directing to the Assembly to the point of order he is talking about, to give us the benefit of the doubt. Which point of order
it's taken as abandoned, period. It's taken as abandoned. So we are proceeding. Who was on the floor? It's very simple. Sort it out. He did not proceed, so it's taken as abandoned. So, Honorable Member for Fonyi Berefet, can you continue?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Calm down. Let us proceed. Thank you very much. Now,
I will again, please, I'm appealing to honorable members, let us all exercise patience, please, and decorum. Everybody has a right to intervene. The relevant section has just, clause has just been cited by Lower Badibu. If you have a point of order, just raise it, direct it to the chair, it will be addressed. If you want to withdraw, fine. If you have an observation, you can ask for permission. If it is granted, you proceed. If not, that will be the end, and we proceed. But we cannot be just raising our voices at the same time, everybody. We will not hear each other even if we all want to speak at the same time. It's just an appeal, please. Honorable members, let's exercise decorum. Yeah, Berefet, please, thank you.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. It is very important that if members to listen to one another so that we can get the sense of what people are making, that will enable us to make headway. But in general, I'm talking about the issue of the judiciary that I have said have been given economic preference. And I try to explain that. I've highlighted the first issue, the question of the retirement benefits. And the second issue is their budget. The budget, in considering the estimates, the National Assembly shall not, which is mandatory, reduce their budget. For example, last year's budget, we cannot reduce anything less than last year's budget. And let us remind ourselves, we are a tax-based economy. Our budgeting system is also based on program-based budgeting. Now, if you say a particular institution's previous budget cannot be reduced, what happens if priorities change? What happens if the funds are not available? So that means you have to compromise other institutions which are equally important, just like the health, agriculture, and education, to satisfy the mandate of the Constitution. So it's where I have a problem. The National Assembly shall have the power to reduce or increase any institution's budget, which is fair enough, because our budget is based on availability and prioritization, because we have limited economy and limited finance. Therefore, there's need for we to prioritize our budget and our expenditure. But you cannot say institutions' budget cannot be reduced. For me, that needs to be reconsidered. And in addition, that same fund, they should become independent the way they manage their own funds, and their funds, the appropriations should be to be deposited to their account on quarterly basis. Emphasis shall be deposited into the accounts on quarterly basis. That takes us to the same issue. What happens if funds are not there? If funds are limited, it means do we have to take from health to satisfy that constitutional mandate? Is where I have a problem. Madam Speaker, in conclusion, it is very, very important that all issues that are being raised be considered. I don't know how do we proceed from that, but it's important that these vital issues that has been raised by the citizens, by fellow NAMs, is worth considering. This will avoid the Constitution being amended several times. I understand the 1997 Constitution was amended 52 times. But if the concerns raised are not being taken care of, I'm afraid this might be amended 2 times, 52. So in conclusion, Madam Speaker, it's important actually that members look at it thoroughly. And that's not just to say, if a particular member objects the passing of this bill, that doesn't suggest that he or she did not make any consultation. It is our responsibility, hence we are people's representative, to make consultations with our people. And for me, I'm not quite sure whether all have done it, but for me, in passing, I have done exhaustive consultation with my people. And they have come up with certain issues. I know that I don't want to proceed because some of those issues have been highlighted by previous speakers, so I don't want to prolong the discussion and take much of the Assembly's hearts. The issue of constitution have been mentioned over and over by members. That also needs to be thoroughly looked into. to avoid what had happened in other countries. I think history has indicated that in Ivory Coast previously, there was a problem like that. So it's a very, very sensitive issue that we need to look at critically. And to sum it up, Madam Speaker, as I said, actually, it is important, finally, that let us take note of all these issues raised. And also let us respect each other's opinions. Now, signing the follow-up with the national to say, I found a group of members who are trying to advocate to fail the draft constitution, let not pass second stage. It is your responsibility to convince. Because as a National Assembly, what you could do is to convince others. But you can't avoid people from speaking their minds. Perhaps some people are not very well informed. If you approach them and try to speak, you may convince them. But failing to do that, but speaking aggressively, will yield no results. So it's important we respect each other's opinion. If you want to make a hearing, Madam Speaker, I want to thank you very much. I beg to take my hand.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Jimara.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think mine will be the shortest. I will also join my colleague to thank the CRRC for a job well done. Honorable Speaker, as at now, I didn't make any decision whether to vote yes or no. I want to make it very clear. I didn't make any decision to vote yes or no until my concerns are answered by the Honorable Minister. And those concerns are, Honorable Speaker, the CRRC make a consultation in most of the regions and constituencies, including political parties. But then I have gone through the final draft constitution. Most of the issues raised by the people and the political parties are not put in the draft constitution. And my question is, will it be possible, Honorable Minister, to put those issues which was raised before we adopt it in the National Assembly? Honorable Speaker, I think those are the things that I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Sabasanjal.
Great. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me begin by thanking everybody and recognizing the presence of the media and everybody here. I also want to register my sincere appreciation to the efforts of the CRC. They have taken a daunting task to come up with such a constitution. Madam Speaker, however, I will just state as some other people have stated, but I have a series of concerns about this constitution. I may not exhaust all what I want to say or all what I observe, but I will select few among them, and I would like some clarification on them by the Honorable Attorney General, and there I will draw the curtain. Madam Speaker, first and foremost, I want to talk about the separation of power. The essence of democracy is the principle of separation of power and good governance. And I think we are all dreaming that fundamental system. Madam Speaker, when I look at the draft, I don't see any power being separated from the different arms of the government. I can even say there is one arm of the government which is more powerful than the rest of the others. Madam Speaker, to me, this is not justice, and it will not give us good governance. I will specifically mention the National Assembly, being the legislature, has been given tremendous powers, which I think is going far beyond their boundaries. Madam Speaker, for the sake of separation of powers again, Parliament have the mandate to enact laws, perform oversight, and many other things. Now, looking at the draft, the Parliament is mandated to engage in the activities of the executive, to engage in the executive of the judiciary, and there is no organ of government who has hand in the parliament. What type of separation of power is that? So I am really doubt if we go by this, we are inculcating or we are bringing a dictator parliament. Today I am a National Assembly member, but tomorrow who knows whether I will be. Therefore, Madam Speaker, I strongly, in the most strongest term, condemn National Assembly participating in the affairs of the executive. And I don't want to go into detail, but these are found in the Constitution, in the draft, and because of that, I am really down. Honorable Speaker, the other arm, which is also given a tremendous power, is the judiciary. If you look at the judiciary, they are equal as all other public, officers. Of course, they are independent body. By the nature of their function, their job, actually, the way they operate should be different from other organs. But the state should treat all officers equally, especially in terms of retirement, in terms of remuneration, and many other things. So, Madam Speaker, what I saw, or what I see in the draft, the judiciary is given a power or given, I don't know how would I even describe this. Because looking at their retirement benefits, you see that as a judge of a superior court or a high court judge, upon retirement, will be paid the salary that he retired continuously, plus his gratuity and other benefits. And this does not apply to any other public officer in the country. And Madam Speaker, the 1997 Constitution denied this Parliament to make a law or to enact a law that will separate or that will discriminate the public officers. That is one fundamental thing I want to mention. Madam Speaker, going away from separation of power, Madam Speaker, I have another concern regarding the civil service again. And that is in section 27. Section 27 of the draft. Madam Speaker, no public officer should engage into any gainful employment if you are employed by the state. Madam Speaker, that law, I cannot subscribe to that. I have to make that clear. Because if you look at the Gambia, even the University of the Gambia, a good chunk of the lecturers there are part-time lecturers. They are employed somewhere, and they took another employment there. Now, if we deny these people to do that, how is our university going to function? Now, if you go to the Gambia College, the same thing. Our teachers, because we have a low economy, the government cannot pay them the right salaries. So they also go for another schools, the private schools, so that they can sustain themselves. Now, if you deny these people that right to go and look for another gainful employment, how are you going to maintain them? Whatever I am saying here is based on my consent and the research I make on this document. I have facts to explain all those things. Madam Speaker, there is a concern to me, and I don't think this is really a progressive provision. It is alleged that the 1997 Constitution was amended for 52 times, but this Constitution as drafted, if we let it pass, Madam Speaker, I can tell you it will go for more than 100 amendments. Because there is nobody who can govern a country under this Constitution. You have a peaceful country. That is the fact. Madam Speaker, if you look at the media, over the past 2 days, they are calling members, they are talking a lot of things. If you look at Facebook, a lot of insults, and people are doing this because out of ignorance, and they are misled, they are misinformed. Some of them don't even have a copy of this draft, and they are saying a lot of things about the draft. I think National Assembly members should be left to do their work diligently and in a very independent manner. Being a member of a particular institution or an interest group does not concern me. My concern is the entire Gambia. So based on those facts, Madam Speaker, I will faithfully act on behalf of the Gambians for the best interest of the Gambia, not a specific group. Now, Madam Speaker, allow me to continue from there. If you look at Section 37, that provision also is inconsistent with the ICCPR, in which Gambia is a party to. Gambia is a party to that treaty, and that provision is completely inconsistent with that document. Madam Speaker, I think this needs to be looked at. Madam Speaker, if I can go further, I will touch on the armed forces. The armed forces, Madam Speaker, in the 1997 Constitution, I don't want to go into detail, but I just want to bring comparison so that you can also do the same thing and see what I am talking about. Their mandates are explicitly explained and their responsibilities in the 1997 Constitution. But if you go to the draft, less is being talked about the armed forces. The draft is just saying the Parliament will further do those things. Madam Speaker, I think this Constitution is the document that should set the framework, the principle of how this country should be governed. But everything should not be left in the hands of the Parliament. I'm not saying that this is a regulation, but merely in certain terms, you can denote that. Madam Speaker, if I go to the section 10, section what? In the draft constitution, section 10, where the loss of the Gambia is not enshrined. And in the 1997 Constitution, we have those laws protected so that you cannot affect them, you cannot touch them unless and until it goes to referendum. It's not entering, yes. So, which is giving a room for any manipulation on this Constitution by anybody who have a semi-dictatorial behavior. So therefore, Madam Speaker, we should be very careful the way we enact our laws, and we should be very careful the way we pass this law. I think explicitly under that section 10, where the Sharia law is, it creates a large outcry of public concern. And I think, Madam Speaker, if we should do justice, we should try to look into that, to see how possible we can entrench that clause. Madam Speaker, removal of the president is another issue that I observe. To me, there are two stages, but I think the first stage should have carried more magnitude or more powers than the rest of the stages. Because if you elect a particular president, to substantiate that should carry at least a heavy weight. And if I compare this with the judiciary, removing a high court judge, Madam Speaker, it's just crazy. Somebody who is elected by the general public, and the person appoints somebody, it's easier to remove the person elected by the general public than removing the person, that man appointed. Madam Speaker, is that justice? Madam Speaker, this is why the public should know what is embedded in this Constitution before they claim anything or before they talk to anybody. I receive some insult from people. And they are subjecting me to approve what they don't know. Another point, Madam Speaker, if you look at 1997, section 101, it's denying anybody to condition a particular National Assembly member to do anything out of his consent, his or her consent. It's a contempt. And people were doing it over the last 2 days. Up to the extent of even threatening you, telling you that if you don't do it next time, we'll campaign against you. Madam Speaker, I want to believe that the process of this bill is being fully politicized. Madam Speaker, on citizenship, it's very important. On citizenship, Madam Speaker, I tend to laugh because when I take a look at the CRC report on page 53, I refer to that page. Consultations were done, especially outside the Gambia, and some views were captured and rated in percentage terms, but the CRC failed to come up with a clause to direct the Parliament as to what to do, but to just tell them that Parliament, it needs to be reconsidered because Parliament will see how best they can rule on these citizens' issues. There is this specific group who are claiming to be a citizen of the Gambia, that's the descendant of the slaves. Those people, in history, the West, the Arab, and other civilizations came to Africa here to scramble for human beings. They took our people, our grandparents, and enslaved them. Now children and grandchildren of those people look into their history and identify that some of them, they are part of the Gambia. Their grandparents were from the Gambia. And these people want to come back to the Gambia as a citizen. But this document is still not giving them that liberty. Despite they approached them, consulted them, and 70-something submissions were given to the CRC, but none of those submissions, none of them were captured in the report, neither in the report nor in the draft. Madam Speaker, this is really serious because we are not building a single institution, we are building a country. And I think we should not build a country where in 2-3 days or 2-3 months' time, you will see catastrophe. I think if we are to be honest to ourselves, many Gambians leave this Gambia, go to other European countries, and they are guaranteed citizenship. So why Gambia is denying other people who choose to be Gambians? And they were taken here, their parents were taken here forcefully. And we are saying we don't have time for them. Madam Speaker, in these days of the world, we are talking of global village. So I don't think that is a genuine cause. Madam Speaker, I'm sorry for the statement, the term I used, but I am not happy with that. And I think we should also relook at that. Madam Speaker, as I told you, as I said earlier, I cannot finish it, but I want to also mention the appointment of judges. In the appointment of judges, you have the Judiciary Service Commission, who is doing all the screening, and through that process, they identify for the president to appoint. Now, why subjecting those people to another level of scrutiny? By bringing them to the National Assembly. If we do that, Madam Speaker, we are politicizing our judiciary. Because I am a politician, and if somebody wants to go for that position and is not shortlisted, Madam Speaker, if I have any power, I will make sure that person is appointed. So those are the dangers in Parliament interfering into such things. So, Madam Speaker, I think let us advise ourselves very well. Although we want to have A third republic is not a constitution, because when I came to this parliament, some of the statements I heard about the 1997 constitution was it is among the best constitutions in the sub-region. But it was amended for this number of times to suit somebody's interest. For me, it wouldn't even require us to go for a new constitution. But at that time, we are so ambiguous to have to usher to a third republic. That is the main factor, that is the main objective. That's why we go for, a new constitution. But I was not expecting a constitution that will bring discrimination among its citizens, that will bring chaos in the governance of the country, that will bring even ungovernable situation. Because a country has to be governed by principle based on respect and mutual understanding. In my conclusion, Madam Speaker, I want to also say the CRC, in one way or the other, has ignored some of the proposals made by the people, and even myself, and I will quote it. And I will give reference to even some people who were there and they attacked me on that. I can fully remember. Madam Speaker, if you go to transitional clauses, Schedule 3, Section 5 is talking about the term of the president, which is another problem that is undermining the progress of this constitution. Madam, let us remind ourselves that we are just a chunk from the population. And those people there are the people who should reflect on our actions, on whatever we do here. Now, if a provision, we are in a transitional period, we should reconcile. I was not expecting such a provision that would bring disintegration, that would bring misunderstanding in the Gambia. For the sake of reconciliation, we should have avoided such provision in this draft. Because the concept of the coalition, we all see what they conceptualized when they came to the people and what happened. So that purpose was completely defeated. Now, you think about that, you bring another provision that would bring a more, tension situation. I'm really surprised, and I don't want to say it, but definitely, Madam Speaker, I was not expecting such provision in the Constitution. When you have a right, when you are given right by a Constitution, if you want to relinquish that right, or if that right wants to be seized from you, those people should console you on that right. I don't know whether they did it. If they consult the president on that, I don't see it in the report and I don't see it in the draft. And I believe, as people who respect fundamental human rights, they should consult the president about that and know his position. If he is ready to sacrifice, that's well and good. We'll have peaceful and smooth transition. If he is insisting that that is his right and he wants to use his right, we know how, that will inform us how to do the next thing, how to go about the next thing. But, Madam Speaker, how can you just sit there and decide on somebody's right? And this Constitution is also denying us to do that. And remember, we are promulgating this Constitution by using this one. And I took oath when I came here in the first day that I will defend this Constitution without fear or favor. So I cannot denounce my oath. I cannot go against what I oath, what I took oath. So that is another fundamental thing, Madam Speaker, that I wanted to highlight. Madam Speaker, still now, sorry, okay, let me just say this. My position on what I said earlier about this provision, I don't see it in the transitional clause because the Constitution is advocating for general election where the National Assembly and presidential election will be held on the same day. Madam Speaker, when this proposal came from the IEC, some of us, I specifically, I said, I have no problem in that, but you have to tell me my rights, how will I get them? Now, in doing that, my time will be sort of 4 months. And what will you do about that 4 months? I also give them scenario. If that is difficult, why not you extend the presidential term for 4 months? And I said, if you extend the presidential term for 4 months, will you not pay the president for 4 months? Will you not pay the president that 4 months? And the Constitution gives us that mandate. They can do that. They could have done that. So, and the response was, this term, when we do that, this term will be seen to be as a full term. It will be, understand, we serve 2 terms. But I further ask, my remuneration, that is my salary, my allowances, and other benefits, how would I get that? And that is not responded to. And when I say that, I don't want to, I'm not, I will quote him. Mr. Gayso and our Caesar Sabali told me, why are you so interested to get that? So those are some of the comments I can still remember. But I said, it is my right. And if you want to take my right, I think I should be consulted on that, and you take my consent on my right. So fundamentally, Madam Speaker, we give the CRC the mandate, the mandate to do in the CRC Act, Section 6. This Parliament enacted the CRC, and give them all the mandates that they're supposed to do, and they did it. But in the process, Madam Speaker, some people or some rights are not, respected. And that is why we are having this problem about this Constitution. So, as others have said earlier, if the Honorable Justice Minister Attorney General can clearly clarify our doubts, or my doubts specifically, on those issues, Madam Speaker, I don't mind to support this. But without that, Madam Speaker, if I'm not convinced, to me and to my people, because I consulted them, and they gave me points, they gave me what I should do and what I should not do. However, among the people I consulted in my constituency, I can count three views that are not in the order that are different, 3 different views. But the rest of the views are speaking the same language. And as they send me here, they are listening to me. Whatever I say and whatever I do, I should reflect on them. So, Madam Speaker, I respectfully submit that. Let us rethink and look at this document carefully, and let us not be very ambiguous, especially in a political way. This is not about politics. It is about our country, and we want to have a document that will serve, that will test the period of time. We don't want to have a constitution where in the next 2 years it will be subjected to a lot of amendments. Madam Speaker, this is a concern, and with those submissions, I respectfully take my seat. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Sami. Sami. Honorable Member for Sami. Oh, he's already spoken.
Unless, if you want me to speak.
Sorry, I duplicated him. Then it's Nyani.
It's Nyani.
I'm sorry, I must have duplicated the list.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the floor. First of all, I would also like to join my colleagues to thank the CRC for the job well done. Here, we are speaking on the Constitution, draft Constitution. And to be frankly honest to my members, from my electorate, of all the view I had from them, is to
add my voice to make this draft to be adopted. Madam Speaker, a draft constitution, or a constitution as a particular, cannot be a tailor-made. You should all know that as far as constitutions are concerned, other sections will favor you, others will not favor you. But at the end of the day, you have to accept. One day, I may be at fault on that particular section, but another day, we might be successful in that particular section. So on that, Madam Speaker, of all what we are saying, let us be frank enough to accept this draft constitution. A lot has been said, and the commission also has been going around consulting people about their opinion. And all those things cannot also be factored in this draft constitution. But what we will understand is that at least most of the important issues have been elaborated in the constitution and well spelled. So I think, Madam Speaker, there is nothing wrong for people to say their opinions. But what we should understand is that this draft constitution, a lot has been spent on the side of finance, time, energy. A lot of resources have been spent. So, though resources can be spent on something and it will not be viable, but in other parts, as far as this draft constitution is concerned, we cannot assume everything what you want is going to be factored in the constitution. And actually, as previous speaker said, we have already sworn to defend our constitution, to defend our opinion right, but whatever is happening, let's not see it politically. We all know as a calf, if you leave him, it will go to the mother. But whatever is happening, let us not see each other as that. Because me, anytime I stood here, I always try to give my advice and always try to see what is the reality. It's true, Madam Speaker, people have to say their opinion, which it was not spelled in the Constitution. But I have got almost calls, even letters from my constituency to advise me and to give their reasons why I should adopt. Almost 80% of my people are saying yes to this constitution, as far as we are concerned. So it's not part of, even if you interpret it another way around, the other part of the people will say, but this one should be removed, or this one which I like. But at the end of the day, you all have to come to terms and agree. So as we are going, changes would be happening. As we said, there are other, the former one, that is the 1997 Constitution. Some have been changed according to how we are going and how generation is going. But notwithstanding, let's accept that we cannot make this as a tailor-made, that the shirt and the trouser will suit me. But you can assume that I can put up the shirt, but the trouser maybe one day, it will also fit me. So on that note, Madam Speaker, as I said, there are other issues which I have to elaborate, though, as I said, it cannot be changed. It can be changed, but it cannot be changed like anything we want. Let's change that. At the end of the day, we'll go without any constitution, because it will not suit everybody. But on that, as far as the constitution is concerned, like, first of all, the citizenship. Okay, we all assume, as it spells here, one of your parents should be born in the country. If you look at our population, we are not that many. So comparing strangers who are coming in and out, and even if you lodge a stranger at your home, and he came with a young girl, before he leaves there, maybe what he's going to get on BAF will be more than what he will have in your compound. So we should look at that side. At least, though I know it will be not good for others, but as I said, it's my opinion. You go to China, almost every, as a citizenship, the mother and the father will be a citizen of China. So at the end of the day, even we assume that the grandparents will be a Chinese. So here, if you said any of it, at the end of the day, the ratio will be higher than us. Let us be frank to each other. Counting with the population of the number of strangers in country, even more than us. So at the end of the day, if you start to cancel 1:1, we're left without any. So this is my opinion, and this is how I look at it. Other countries is fine, go to America, but yet still, the population of those citizens, if you add them together, it will not be more than 15 or 20%. Still now, the citizen of American will be higher than the strangers. And those people are still controlling the way you should get your certificate of in the citizen of the country. This is simple thing. You want to be a citizen, go through the right procedure, and you get your citizenship. Nobody denies that. So, Madam Speaker, this is how I see as far as the citizenship is concerned. As I said, I have seen here 7 administrative areas. So I would love, at least these administrative areas depend on the councils and on the regions. If we would have got our part of our region as Sierra North to be its own region also, I would love that. But maybe gradually, people will, the members, subsequent members will consider at least we have our own region to add it for other regions, because it's a large region, and if you compare it to other regions, still now we are joining one region, that is Janjambure. So, but notwithstanding, if they would have, because we have already stated it, and it was being a concern to us, so that we can have our own region, that is Sierra North. So, but unfortunately, it didn't factor here. So, the other one, Madam Speaker, is true, as I said. The other thing I have seen, you see, if you are in a position, you should also foresee for future. Today we are all members. One day one will be a president, who knows? So actually, giving the whole power to the National Assembly member, the executive, like the president, didn't have that power. One day you need it and you cannot get it. But what is the most important, if the president has appointed, not matter of nominating and bringing it to the assembly for us to approve. But what is important here is let it factor all the criteria, how a minister should be appointed. And what I didn't see here, at least that particular minister should have an institutional memory. That's the most important thing, and other qualification. But if you bring a minister in an institution where he didn't have that institutional memory, that's always the problem on appointment. But what is most important, I think, for me, one day, among us, one can be a president. And that day you want to appoint, and your appointment will not be approved without coming here. So that's the person, actually, I really wanted to see that at least we give some power to the executive, like the president, so that whatever he's appointing, let it have all the criteria. The only one I didn't see here is the person should have an institutional memory. Madam Speaker, the other one also is term limit. Wherever we have problems, especially in Africa, it's about long stay of office. If I know I leave office next year, I'll try all possible means to see how best I can able to cope with people, because I know I'll leave that office. The Mandinka proverb normally said, a bull which is going to be slaughtered tomorrow, you need not to measure the horn. So if he knows that he is leaving, obviously everybody who wants to be in that office will also be accepting that this is just about time. One day he'll remove that. But somebody who will be staying there, you never know. whether he will die before you or you will die before him, obviously you will be in a rush for him to be removed. So African leaders, this is not even the president, even our association. You will be in the association, say that association, you are the president of that association. People wanted to remove you, your time limit is elapsed, you don't want to leave. And at the end of the day, you said, I don't have anything in this association, but you will not leave. So these are problems. So we try to make sure that this time limit at least is good in the draft constitution, because at the end of the day, everybody will know that 5 years, after 5 years, the next 10 years, it's not short if you are healthy. 10 years is not that long if you are healthy. So I think we should bear with that. And the second term, we left by yourself. The first time, people will vote for you. But the second one is just like us. All what we are saying, our electors are hearing from us. And they send us here as a representative. They know what we are saying. And on that note, they will see how they will be voted for me for the next 5 years. So whoever is here, you know from here whether I will be voted for the second term. Because it will be left by yourself. The first one, you will say everything what will be good for them, for you, but at the end of the day, they will assess that what you have been saying to them, whether that was what has happened, then they will put you in on the second term. So for that second term, at the end of it, you also will know that that's my end of the position. So being that I think to stay long in a position, this is why even the civil servant, you are pensioned at the age of 60, because you cannot be staying there for life. There is no position which you may assume you stay there for life. So, Madam Speaker, that's my concern on the term limit. This is the problem in most African presidents. We will take for a period and say, let's renew it, or let's change the constitution. And what we wanted to understand here, Honorable Minister, is we are saying 10 years or 2 terms. All what we know and all our electors know is 10 years in a position. Already he stood for 5 years and he's looking for another 5 years. That's the way most of the electors are seeing it. And I think that's
Order, or are you referring to him?
Just clarification.
You want clearance from him?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Can I? Yes. Honorable Speaker, the time limit, we have to be really careful in personalizing it. If you look at Schedule 4, it is saying effective date means the date of the coming into force of this Constitution, which shall be the date after the day this Constitution is adopted at a national referendum. That is the effective date. So in essence, what it is saying in terms of the term limit, like the member said, in fact, even the National Assembly, there is a transition. We do not break. What it says here is that 5, term of office of the incumbent president, that the person duly elected president of the Republic prior to the effective date and serving in office as at the effective date shall be the first president of the Third Republic of the Gambia and shall continue to hold the office of president in accordance with the provisions of this Constitution. So essentially what this is simply saying is that by having the Constitution adopted, it comes into force. So when it comes into force, whoever is there will be considered to be the first president of the Third Republic. That's all it is saying. And it's continuing to serve. So in essence, it is not directed at a person. It's directed at an office. And if we start looking at a person, we may confuse the whole agenda as if there's an agenda against a person.
Thank you for that. I think all what we wanted to know is it's already been cleared. And as he said, we are trying to adopt the Constitution. And at the end of the day, if the Constitution is adopted while anybody who is in position will start it even wherever he is. So all what I wanted to elaborate was that long stay in office. So at least we should factor that very well. Madam Speaker, the other one is I think
Honorable, you see, that is why it is very important to know the scope of the debate, that we are dealing with the principles. But once you start going into the details, there may be a tendency, to slide. And maybe that may even cause some misinterpretation. And I don't know. I'm not saying that it is, but it is a possibility. So if we can just confine our interventions, debates on the merits and principles generally of the bill, I think we would be doing the proper thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As I said, a lot has been said. I here stood and represent my constituency. And as I said, what I hear from them, and during my consultation with them, they really accept the draft constitution. Almost vast majority whom I have been hearing from, and I even got a letter from the youth of that constituency of their concern to make sure that I try to be part of the members who are going to accept this draft constitution. So on that note, Madam Speaker, I just said these are my opinion and the opinion of my constituency, that we join in hand so that we can able to adopt this draft constitution. On that note, Madam Speaker, I take my seat.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Kumbo East.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I must also join my honorable colleagues to thank the CRSC for their job well done, because it's not an easy job actually, because they have to go all over the country as well as outside this country to gauge the opinions of the people. Honorable Speaker, no constitution is perfect, simply because it cannot get all the wishes and aspirations of every individual. But as I'm speaking to you, I think quite a number of Gambians are very much satisfied with the content of the draft constitution, and I believe a lot have been given a consideration. Honorable Speaker, if you go into the draft constitution, you realize that the establishments and composition of the local government authority is a step in the right direction. Because these local government authorities at the 1997 constitutions, they cannot be an autonomous on their own because they rely on other people's authority. But this time around, they are really relying on their own authority, because this will have a positive impact on the life and livelihood of the people within their localities. Therefore, it is good to go. I 100% support this bill, and I believe, this draft bills rather, and I believe I'm speaking from my conscience and the people I am representing, because every individual, whosoever is here, is representing people. Therefore, it is quite cognizant of the fact that one have to speak for the people that they are representing. Honorable Speaker, if you go into the detail, in fact, if you just go to the draft constitution, you realize that there are so many provisions that have been captured that has some conformity with the international standard. With the nomination of the cabinet ministers, confirmation by the National Assembly is in confirmation, and it is in conformity with the international standard. So I don't think there is any problem in that. Honorable Speaker, if you go, you will realize that there are cultural rights, rights to labor practices, and the right to clean environment, economic and social rights, and rights to elderly. These are our social norms and values. So I think it is going to go for us to actually support this very important bill, and I believe there is not more to be done about this, and I don't think I have to go the Assembly with a lot of discussion on this issue. definitely support the bill, and I'm urging all honorable members to support this very important bill. And on that note, Honorable Speaker, I thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Olyundum.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Thank you for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, first of all, I would like to thank the Constitutional Review Commission for having taken the procedures or the mandate given to them to bring the Constitution that is tabled before the National Assembly for consideration. Honorable Speaker, my colleagues in the National Assembly are all speaking their minds as to exactly what we have in the draft Constitution. And this is exactly what I am going to do as well. Having gone through the Constitution myself, with consultation with electorates or constituents in my own constituency, we have found a lot more deficiency in the Constitution that we also wanted to bring forward. We know you have progressive clauses in the Constitution that we cannot deny. But we also have provisions that we think need to be looked at. Earlier on, I did an interview with Chronicle. They asked me about what do I think about the Constitution. I said, if the National Assembly do not have the authority, the members in the National Assembly do not have authority to touch the Constitution, and do some fine-tuning, then Honorable Abdullah Sise is not supporting the Constitution. That is my position. And I have gone through, and I have about 16 other clauses that I believe need to be reviewed, or else that is going to be the end. My people in my constituency have given me their consent, and that is what I am bringing forward. Honorable Speaker, the issue of citizenship in the draft Constitution, as alluded to by my colleagues, Honorable Ture and others, they said the same thing, and I believe that provision needs to be looked at very clearly. The 1997 Constitution has given us a clear-cut provision that I believe should be the provision in this draft Constitution for us to move. But it has been changed, and that is not good for us. The term of office of President as well, Honorable Speaker, is also another thing. If you say the Constitution, when it comes into force, the two-term limit of the President would start from this transitional year, that is the 5 years, meaning you are reverting the law back. I think that is another thing that we also need to look at, Honorable Speaker. From consultation, people have not agreed on this particular provision, and as a representative, I must bring it forward for people to hear. Honorable Speaker, going forward, on the appointment of ministers as well, my colleagues have said it here. I am just going to repeat them because just to make them constructive so that people will know. These are issues that are bothering us, and I think we need to check them. For the confirmation of ministers in the National Assembly, which can always be political, we have our personal reservations to that. The revocation of appointment by the President to revoke the appointment of the Vice President or any other minister as well. That is another thing that we also need to look at, Honorable Speaker. Another section on Section 195, that is the preferential treatment of the judges as well. We have it in the Constitution, and we are not talking anything about that. You cannot have judges that are accorded privilege better than the doctors, the soldiers, and the teachers in this country. Any privilege that is given to a judge must also be given to the other side of the service sector. That is, you have the doctors, you have the teachers, you have the soldiers. They are not benefiting from this particular provision. So for me, I think that is not fair. and we should not have such provision in the Constitution. We need to look at that as well. As well as Section 195(2), that is another provision that is not giving equal opportunity to all the citizens as well. That is only concentrating more on the judiciary. So I think when the state is giving out, it has to be an equal opportunity base. Those that are representing the state in various institutions need to benefit from that. Honorable Speaker, as well as the leaders in the National Assembly, the election of Speaker in the National Assembly is also not clear. The provision is there, but we don't know how that will work. These are some of the things that are kept embedded in the Constitution, and I think they need to look at them critically. My position is this Constitution must be reviewed, and if the law is saying that we cannot touch it, Honorable is not supporting the Constitution, Honorable Speaker. On that note, I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Yara East.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, first and foremost, I rise to drum of support for this important piece of legislation. Honorable Speaker, grant me leave to whet our appetite historically. Honorable Speaker, at the eve of independence, that was 17th February 1965, at the eve of independence, 17th February 1965, this country of ours was gripped by what I will call independence fever. There was much hype and jubilation that as a country we are at the threshold of being commanders of our own destiny. Honorable Speaker, there came 18th February 1965 as the D-Day when the Gambia gained her independence from the British. Honorable Speaker, the moment the Gambia was declared an independent state, the Union Jack was lowered and the Gambian flag was hoisted. Honorable Speaker, I don't know whether I'm hard because we are trying to adapt to the new normal. My mouth is gagged. Honorable Speaker, that shows that a lot of things have gone down the bridge. A lot of water have passed down the bridge. Honorable Speaker, independence of a country is very significant. Significant in the sense that it tells you that you as an entity, as a country, you are at liberty to be in charge of your own destiny. That we are no longer going to be dictated to. Madam Speaker, therefore, as an independent state, there are a lot of gains that a country is likely going to enjoy. Madam Speaker, to come to the extant issue at hand, that is the draft constitution. Today the nation is gripped with mixed feelings. Mixed feelings in the sense that the general public are saying, will they, won't they? So the country is looking at us And Madam Speaker, I think we will do the right thing. This August Assembly will do the needful. And the needful is to give thumbs up. Is to give thumbs up to this draft constitution. Because this draft constitution, Madam Speaker, must be seen as an embodiment of the interests, wishes, and aspirations of the totality of Gambians. That's the long and short of it, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this draft constitution, as I stand to dilate on its general principles and merits, I will not dissect into the provisions enshrined unless and until it is time for Committee of the Whole House. That's the time I will dissect, study it thoroughly. Honorable Speaker, the Gambian masses are not oblivious of the fact that a lot of things happen in this country. We had the Constitutional Conference, the pre-independent talks, and the post-independent talks. And at this juncture, allow me to pay homage to our founding fathers in the passing of His Excellency, late President Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara, and his lieutenants, who were deemed as the forerunners of our independence. Honorable Speaker, the independence was fought not by only men, but also by women. Women of substance, women of dignity, and men who could be described as gentlemen of the finest African tradition. I therefore want to recognize their mammoth contribution on our road to getting the Gambia enjoy internal self-government. Honorable Speaker, for this debate, we are confronted with what I will call a national conversation. And this national conversation is on the lips of every Tom, Dicky, and Harry. As a result, owing to its importance, it can be called a common refrain. It's on everybody's lips. Honorable Speaker, what is expected of us in this critical turning point of our history is to make decisions. Honorable Speaker, in making decisions, we must be guided by certain fundamental elements. That is, in as much as we are willing to make decisions, our decisions must be preceded by good judgment. Our actions must also be preceded by reasons and not emotions or sentiments. Because in this exercise, Madam Speaker, it's about nation building. And the Gambian nation is bigger than all of us. Honorable Speaker, the Gambia is the main set. And this August Assembly serves as the subset of the main set. So the main set is bigger than the subset. The Gambian masses are bigger than the Gambian National Assembly. Yes, we are at liberty, by way of arrangement, to have a say of this important national discourse. But that does not mean, Madam Speaker, that we can trample on the wishes and aspirations of the totality of Gambians. Honorable Speaker, unless we forget we are engaged in epoch-making journey. We are making history. And Madam Speaker, we must be guided by the fact that history is more than the path left by the past, for it influences our present, and it has the potency to define our future as well. It has the potency to shape our future as well. So, Madam Speaker, in our quest to make that landmark history, we must all work assiduously so as to be recorded.
Honorable, I'm sorry to interrupt you. We are all guided by our standing orders as far as procedure is concerned. And I think we should all try to adhere to that. I think it's good to talk about the historical development of everything, but I would rather you paraphrase it and then we go straight into the merits and principles of the bill. Because you've been dealing with sort of, I would term it, historical background, how we arrived at where we are today. But probably it could have been paraphrased, summarized, and then you go straight to the principles of the bill. If you can just align it, your arguments towards that angle of discourse. Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, I'm humble as it pleases your good office. Thank you. Honorable Speaker, time is not our best ally. I'm compelled to put my submission in a nutshell. And I thank you for guiding me. I'm humble. Honorable Speaker, why Constitution? Why do we have Constitution? And what is the meaning of Constitution? And what a Constitution is capable of doing for a country? Honorable Speaker, I think these things are very important. It goes without saying, Honorable Speaker, that the Constitution serves as the supreme law of the country. And as a result, it goes to serve as the lifeblood of any given country. Honorable Speaker, the merits of having a constitution cannot be overemphasized. Honorable Speaker, one of them, it serves to enhance good governance. It serves to enhance the rule of law. Honorable Speaker, Constitution is incompatible with dictatorship. It is in a Constitution the rights and responsibilities of the citizens are enshrined and clearly spelled out. This is why where your right stops, that's where somebody starts. We are able to have these rights or enjoy these rights because of a constitutional instrument. Honorable Speaker, this Constitution must enjoy a yes vote. You may ask me why. Because it is an embodiment of the interests, wishes, and aspirations of the totality of Gambians. So it must enjoy a yes vote. A lot of money. If my memory can serve me, 116 million. Honorable Speaker, that's a colossal sum by all standards. And I don't think this August Assembly would like to be recorded on the wrong side of history. Because history is going to judge us. And there is no way that we can escape the long arms of justice, neither can we escape the long arms of history. So therefore, in making history, let us work towards being recorded on the positive side. So that tomorrow, our children and our children's children we'll have a better Gambia. Honorable Speaker, yesterday I received a lot of calls from concerned Gambians, both home and abroad. And I can tell you, for the fact that they have been, calling, they are very much concerned about the Gambian situation. This is why they keep calling to make sure that we help move the Gambia. Honorable Speaker, when it comes to nation building, there is not like party A or party B. All of us share a common denominator, and that is we are all Gambians. We all have the same ID cards, and that's why we are discussing Gambian matter. This is a Gambian matter. It must be seen within that lens. It must be approached in a non-partisan manner. We must be impartial in our deliberations, and above all, to be guided by Section 112 of the 1997 Constitution. That is, whatever we are doing, whether within or outside the confines of this Parliament, we must be guided by national interest and consent. That is the only thing. So, throwing this draft constitution under the bus, may God forbid, it means we are throwing the wishes and aspirations of our fellow compatriots, and that will not go well. That will not go well for us. Honorable Speaker, talk less of the money that has been invested, but we must be here to strengthen the voices of our people. Because the long and short of representation, Madam Speaker, is to transform the fantasies of our people into realities. And if this draft constitution gets a yes vote, it means we have transformed, in no small measure, the wishes and aspirations of our electorate. Honorable Speaker, I have some honorable members talking about being asked not to give a stamp of approval to this important draft constitution. Honorable Speaker, we are politicians, and I want to use my skills here to convince them to give a yes vote to this constitution. Honorable Speaker, I am not oblivious of the fact that you can take a horse to the pond, but you can never force the horse to drink. But this time I'm ready to force you to drink. It's not poison. Drink. It's not poison. Drink it. If you trust me. I have taken mine. But I need to take yours as well. I have no qualms with our divergent opinions. It is normal. But lest we forget, Madam Speaker, this draft constitution contains a multiplicity of opinions. The CRC have toured the length and breadth of this country. They have sounded the opinions of every Tom, Dick, and Harry, principally for them to have, a very good opinion, an opinion that could be described as undiluted, unblemished, and Gambian for that matter. And I think, Madam Speaker, for us to reject this draft constitution, that will tantamount to an abomination. May God forbid. You should make history, but make sure you make good history. Honorable Speaker, I think by dint of this small politicking, I have convinced the leftists to be called the right wings now. I think they are now convinced, and I believe fervently all of them will give a thumbs up to this constitution. This draft constitution needs only one thing, and that is a clean bill of health for it to navigate smoothly without any let or hindrance. And I could see in the eyes of my honorable colleagues that they are all patriotic sons and daughters of this great country. And if there is any motivation, I can tell you, it has to do with your patriotic sentiment. That's the only driving force. You are not forced to accept something that could be called an alien constitution. But this is Gambian constitution. Honorable Speaker, when I was in the primary school, I was told that democracy means by the people, for the people, and of the people. And I can tell you, so is this constitution. It's by the people, for the people, and of the people. So please, let us have country at the forefront. Let the interest of the country supersede whatever parochial interest you might have. It is about the Gambia. And all of us are part of that set. That's why we are considered as the subset. So the Gambian people are the main set. So let us make sure that we accept this draft constitution. Because remember, Gambians are the architects. They will be the architects of this draft constitution by way of referendum. And I have no doubt in my mind the amount of money, human capital that has been injected into this constitutional building will not go in vain. It will not go in vain. Honorable Speaker, I think honorable members have got me and they have heard me very clearly that the Constitution is our own Constitution. It's not something that is alien. And I have no doubt in my mind that after total scrutiny, we are going to give a yes vote to this Constitution. Because remember, the Gambian people are very much concerned. They are not concerned about the money that has been invested, but they are concerned about ousting their wishes and aspirations into the dustbin of history. And I don't think we'll do that, Madam Speaker. I want to be counted for having voted for this draft constitution. And I want you to be counted as well. I am ready. Are you ready? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Sandu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor to also take part in these debates. Honorable Speaker, first of all, I want to register my sincere gratitude to the chairman or chairperson of CRC and also to the Ministry of Justice for coming up with this document. Honorable Speaker, we've argued here that CRC has cited reference or quotes from other constitutions. But I'm sure those arguments, if they have a base, is very little. Because in academia, it's not illegal to cite reference or quote from someone. Because all knowledge, whatever you want to come up, if you want to come with a new knowledge, Honorable Speaker, you must use the existing knowledge. And those existing knowledge, how can you come up with a new knowledge? Is through research. And if you are researching, you must use somebody's document. So if you go to academia, you want to write your thesis or your project, you do not come with knowledge. You have to make that research. And the research is you have to go through somebody's work so that you can also get an idea how to come with a new idea. So I don't think there is a base where we can subject these two until we come with a conclusion that we are going to reject this draft constitution. There are other salient points in this constitution if you base your argument on those. Honorable Speaker, and also the constitution, the draft before us here, is not for an individual. We are coming in with this document to strengthen our institutions. So if you talk about National Assembly has been given power, it's not the members, but the institution that has been empowered to do their work. Because when Mahanera is an MP, today, but tomorrow somebody also can come. So it's not that to safeguard Mahanera alone in that seat, because the seat does not belong to Mahanera, it belongs to the people of Sandu. And the people of Sandu also have their thought in this constitution, or this draft constitution. So it's only, if you look at, you make research, the most reluctant people on earth, I can say, is with Africans, because we are always reluctant to change. And if you don't change, we cannot progress. You cannot just be sitting at one place and you be talking that the world is moving, but we are still behind. Why? Because we are reluctant to change. Like me now, it will cost me any means to make sure that I stay on this seat. This seat does not belong to me, it belongs to the people of Sandu. So why are you reluctant? You have to work for people if you don't want to be subjected to removal. So the Constitution definitely is not for an individual, it's for the offices, and our aim is to make sure that our institutions are strengthened, the efficacy that we are looking for is achieved. Honorable Speaker, with those remarks, so I will now look to the importance of this Constitution to our institutions. Honorable Speaker, why I have some objection to this Constitution is that if you live for a purpose. And as a Muslim, I have gone through this Constitution. There are certain terms in this Constitution that I'm definitely not happy with. Because we all have been talking about secularism, that it has to be in this, some says it's supposed not to be in the Constitution, but some say it should be in the Constitution for protection. But we can see that again in a way where secularism is embedded in this Constitution. And for me as a Muslim, I'm not going to support that. If you go to section 49, that allow me to quote, every person has the right to freedom of conscience, religious thought, belief, and opinion. 2, every person has the right, either individual or in communities, with others in public or private, to manifest and practice any religious or belief without any interference by the state. The secularism, I think, was talking about this in the 1997 Constitution. And it continues 3 up to 4. Honorable Speaker, if you also go to right to marry and found a family, in 1997 Constitution, the way it was framed there is different in this Constitution as well. And for me as a Muslim, definitely I prefer next world than this world. So there will nothing that will lead me to do something that tomorrow, when I'm to be accounted for, there's nobody who will be there, either president or minister or whatever, to guarantee you that you will not be accountable for and you will be accountable for. That is, a man and a woman of full age and capacity have the right to marry and found a family, and such marriage shall be based on the free and full consent of the man and the woman. So now, if you say a man, that is a set. If you say a woman, it's a set. So it means, unless maybe the Honorable Minister can definitely go and make this person clear to me that a man and a woman, fine. A man and a woman, they say a man and a woman. So these two sets now means 2 people from that set can marry, or 2 people from this other set also can marry. So which means still now, the gay marriage that we were talking about, to me, is still in this Constitution. Unless otherwise, the minister is able to justify that, to make me believe that it does not mean that the legal interpretation of this clause. Yes, Honorable, you can go ahead.
Honorable Speaker, if we look at the 1997 Constitution, it says under section 27, men and women of full age.
Honorable, I didn't realize that he... Is it an observation? I want to get my records right.
Yes, clarification, yes.
Pardon?
Yes, clarification.
It's an observation?
Yes, observation. Yes. And he has allowed me to do that. That section 27 of the 1997 Constitution says that men and women of full age and capacity shall have the right to marry and found a family. So essentially, we are saying the same thing in this one. And I think we must be careful in interpreting again. Thank you.
I don't even think that our role is to interpret here. we are not interpreters, but at least let us state the facts as they are. Now,
right.
Wasalu, what you want to make, are you on a point of order? Or?
Honorable Speaker, just...
No, just a second. I need to take him. Let me ask him first.
I want to observe.
No, first of all, are you on a point of order or observation? Pardon?
Done.
Observation.
I think it's clear now what the Honorable Member for Serekul Naha just said. And also said it very clear that unless the Honorable Minister is able to justify, because I don't know the meaning, I'm just asking if when he comes to the podium whether he can justify this section for us, what it means. I'm not interpreting, I'm just making a comparison between the two. Thank you very much for that observation. No, let me just continue.
Okay.
All right, good, Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much. Thank you, Honorable Member for Serekunda. You can see it now, like what I was saying, nobody is born with knowledge. You must get knowledge from other people. Honorable Speaker, this section, all right, I will leave it to the Honorable Minister can elaborate more on that. And Honorable Speaker, right to property. What I've seen here is only government or states that may forfeit property from someone in the illegal way. But Honorable Speaker, right to property, we have been experiencing a lot of problems in our area, especially in the rural areas. Now, the Honorable Minister, if this constitution definitely is in line with our criminal laws, if you go to our areas, Honorable Speaker, the theft cases in this in URR is rampant. And what happened, if somebody has right to his own property and somebody just come and steal that property from you, then the legal procedures is that that person, you should not touch the person. But at the end, those people, why are they even going ahead to make sure that they also do something to those people is because our justice system. You take somebody to court, at the end of the day, you are frustrated, you use money, you pay lawyers, so at the end of the day, you only forgive your case. So with that note, Honorable Speaker, I think this constitution also should try and address that not only government, but also as an individual, you have your property, you should not give liberty to people when they come and steal, and you still said, no, they should not be touched because of human rights. It's true. Everybody has right. You have right to steal my property. So I don't have right to do anything. I also have right to my property. So it's happened there just recently in Sandu. We are having so many problems like that, Honorable Speaker. Okay, thank you. Minister, all right. So, Honorable Speaker, with these points, definitely if the Honorable Minister will be able to convince me on this, I don't have any problem with this constitution, only to let it go. And my stand is if those areas can be addressed, can the Minister convince me on those ones, definitely I will vote for yes, so that this constitution will go to the next stage, because I'm representing the people of Sandu. If I'm here to exercise my right and scrutinize this document, I don't see any way that I can also seize their right from them, because they also have right to go and exercise on this draft constitution that is on the referendum. And also, I would tell members, still now the parliament has power to do something with this. These people are saying parliament has no power. Fine. Because in our standing orders, you can see that from this stage now, it's either go to the next stage, either we refer it to committee. The committee also can engage, so that anything that we don't want here, we can discuss with the ministry or CRC and see how best we can fine-tune this one. But we will not definitely at this stage to drop this constitution, and definitely I don't see any reason that we should do that. Honorable Speaker, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Opanyomi, I've been listening for the past 15 minutes. We were not around.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to say my view about this Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia 2020 Promulgation Bill 2020. Madam Speaker,
laws are made for people, and the merit and the principle of this particular bill is that the 1997 Constitution, we don't see it as something befitting to our condition. And that was the reason why we set up CRC to come up with a new constitution. Madam Speaker, I only want to ask the Justice Minister this particular question, because it has been going on the social media that the NAMs don't have any right to touch even a comma on this constitution. So if that is the case, then after your clarification, Honorable Minister will take my decision. But Madam Speaker, in the merit and the principles, when I'm making a law, you make a law for all the people in the country, but you don't make law out of sentiment, or you make law out of emotion. And if that happens, then we will see that particular law as discriminatory, meaning that, you know, it's discriminating a section of society, or maybe it's made for an individual. So with those reasons, Madam Speaker, I will reserve my opinion till the Honorable Minister come and clarify that whether we can either make a changes on this particular constitution or not. If not, then therefore my decision to this particular constitution is 100% no. Thank you.
Honorable Member for Fonyi Bintang.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, most of the issues I want to highlight here are taken care of by my colleagues, but nevertheless, I'll be very brief and go straight to the point. Let me first go to the President's nomination of ministers. Madam Speaker, I believe that you have the three terms of government. That's the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. And we are all advocating that they should be independent. So this is why I have the belief that the President should nominate his ministers without coming to the Parliament for approval. But more so also, you have to know that if you are saying that all these organs should be independent, the President also should not have a hand in selecting National Assembly members. Because he also has also nominated members here. So if you are saying that we should not involve in his appointment of minister, he should also not have any hand in nominating National Assembly members. So that is my stand. So, Madam Speaker, let me go to the judiciary. Most of the members have stated Section 195 is talking about the renewal and retirement of the judges. Madam Speaker, it says that any judge who is retired will retire with your salary. And it further went to say that when you retire, when a sitting judge salary increases, the retiree also salary, his retirement benefit will be increasing. I think we should look at that very, very carefully. And I said, I want to be guided by the minister. If that is so, why is this specially for the judiciary, the judges? Why not the legislative? Why not the executive? And why not other public servants or civil servants? So I want to be guided by the minister. And went further to their budget even. They said their budget, when they bring their budget this year, the next year is not touched on their budget. Madam Speaker, they may bring this year the budget and they included buildings and even buying of cars or so many things. And the next year they don't need that. Why would you leave that there? It's not misplacement of priorities. So I don't know why they put it there, but I'm totally not in support, because we have to realize that our economy, we have a tax-based economy here. And we see the problems we have here. Even the National Assembly itself, we don't have what we want. Every year we don't have what we want. So why you are saying that we should not touch the budget of the judiciary? Madam Speaker, the other thing is the qualification of judges, section 191. So really, we need to Gambia. We want to have to Gambianize our judiciary system, right? But for me, I think we need also to consider, we need to open a room, a small room, for other countries to be participating in our judiciary system, especially the Commonwealth countries. Because if some of our also Gambians are practicing in Commonwealth countries, if they also close their room, what will happen to our people? And also, look, the sample, why I say this, because I can remember the office of the DPP, still now, they are advertising the position, I think, for almost a year now. They cannot be a Gambian. If I can be corrected by the minister, who is going to man this position, still now? So this is why I said we need to open, I think, room to include the Commonwealth countries. Madam Speaker, the other thing is section 62, that's the Pacific rights. You call it the economic and social rights. Yes, it's a good dream. You need to have all those rights if possible. But my concern is the rights they mentioned there are numerous. Really, we need to have, but the economic realities, you have to look at the economic realities of the country. But if not, to me, you'll start, when this constitution is enacted, we will start seeing people going to courts. Because we may assume that a particular community may say, I don't have water, and I should have water because it is their right. So people will end up going to courts, and the government will have a problem because the economy cannot sustain it. So me, I want them to include the economic realities of the country. So that's my concern. But I need to be guided by the minister also on that. And also you look at, there's a section that has mentioned a lot of commissions. Also, I'm saying that we have to look at the economic realities. For example, we have seen the Human Rights Commission here when the commission is set for over a year or a year. They don't have an office. They don't have staff because of the money, the economy. So we don't want to form commissions or to bring commissions while we cannot pay. So let's commissions, if we are forming commissions, we form commissions that we know that we can pay the commission members and it can be sustainable. So this is my concern. Madam Speaker, the other thing is section 27 talks about full public civil servant. Full-time public civil servant shall not engage in gainful employment. Madam Speaker, when you look at this, Madam Speaker, I think we want to make some of our institutions very vulnerable or handicapped. A member has mentioned here, you go to university, most of the lecturers, especially the law schools, are lawyers and are working somewhere else. You go to the clinics, most of the doctors and nurses are working in private clinics or pharmacies. And we know that the African men are in. So if you want to bring that, most of these people will leave the public service and go to private service. And also, that will hamper the clinics or some of the institutions. So, Madam Speaker, I think, okay, and also section 147, the speaker. They said the speaker should be selected from outside. But my concern is, how can it be selected by outside? No process. Are you going to the street and bring somebody to select as the speaker? Or are you going to nominate? Or are you going to shortlist? Who's going to shortlist? How is the process? We need the process. We don't worry, but we need the process. We have to be guided by the process. Madam Speaker, the other concern is the chieftaincy. Because when you are elected, once elected, you are there for life. Madam Speaker, I think you are all talking here that when you overstay, you become a dictator. So my concern here is, if somebody is elected and is there for life, he will do whatever he wants because you know that nobody will challenge me on my position. So I need to be guided. And I want, if possible, let them be elected as national assembly, as the president and other people. Every 5 years, let your people gauge you and know whether they want you to lead them or not. So that also, and Madam Speaker, clause 7.3, the supremacy of the court. Let me, sorry, if you may allow, let me read that one. That any law that is inconsistent with the Constitution is void to the extent of, section 3. The validity or legality of this Constitution is not subject to challenges by or before any court or other organ of the state. To my understanding, it is saying that when this draft Constitution became the Constitution of the Republic of Gambia, nobody should have right, whatever is here, should have right to challenge it in the courts. And we are talking of many rights here. So to me, I want to be guided by the minister also. Please. We are very sorry, although you usually come, the starting of the process are not there, but anyway, this is the law. This is the procedures. We have to. Okay, and the other thing, Madam Speaker, we have to. Why I want to be clear on this issue is we have to know that after all this process, this draft constitution is going to a body, and that body will be responsible for interpretation and enforcement of this constitution. So this is why I want everything that is here to be clear, so that everything should be clear to everybody. Because I don't want when this goes to that body, every time people will go in to the courts for interpretation. So, Madam Speaker, one thing I want to advise members and myself is that when we are voting for this constitution, let's vote on the basis of the merit and progressive nature of the contents of this draft. Not that the 1997 constitution is bad. It's not bad. And the campaign strategy, Madam Speaker, people are using can hamper the progress of this draft. Because some of them are using 1970s as attaching it to a political party, which I think when it is done, this can sway the electorate to vote on political lines. And that is not our intention. This is a national document. This is not a political document. It doesn't belong to any political party. It belongs to the Gambian people. What we want is the progress of the Gambia. What is good for the Gambia. So I'm advising, because why I say this is, somebody called me yesterday and said, Honorable, I don't know him. He started talking about this constitution. I told me that this constitution, you know, a party is doing that. I tell him that you are convincing a wrong person then. You want to convince him, then you are convincing a wrong person. He said, why? I think it's Honorable Kamara. I said, yes. Honorable Kamara of a party. He said, no, you know you are reasonable. I said, you said I'm foolish, and you said I'm reasonable again. So you see, this is why I said we should vote not on political lines. We should not campaign not on political lines. Let us campaign on the merits and the progressive nature of this text. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
Sorry.
Point of order.
Honorable Woolley West, Woolley is please. Can we have one
Point
meeting?
of order, Madam Speaker.
No, please, Woolley is. No, I'm not giving you the floor.
Thank you. It's my right, Honorable Speaker. You cannot be, how to call it,
Honorable
dictator.
Woolley East.
No, what I'm saying, it's a point of order.
Honorable Woolley East.
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
He has to listen to the chair. Please, both of you, you have to listen to the chair. Honorable Woolley East.
Okay.
Woolley East.
Yes, thank you.
I'm not giving you the floor.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker.
No. I said, I have not given you the floor. All right, thank you. You will be next, but not now. Kiang East. Honorable Member for Kiang East. Can't you say?
Point of order, Madam Speaker. Yes. Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the floor, because I wanted to observe the member for Serekunda, my mentor. Yes, clause 34. Clause 34. Yes, clause 34 of the standing order. 34(1) of the standing order. Yes, you can carry on. Page 17. And the closure of the debate. Yes. 1. After the question on the motion, the mover of which has the right to reply has been proposed any member, any rising in his or her place, and moved, that the mover be now called upon to reply, unless the speaker is of the opinion that such motions is abuse of ruling of the National Assembly, of the Assembly, or sorry, I cannot pronounce it very well, of the right of a member. The questions that move be now called upon the reply shall be put forthwith and decide without amendment or debate if agreed to. The mover may immediately reply to the debate as soon as the mover has concluded, or immediate if the mover does not wish to reply. The speaker shall put the question on the motion. What I'm saying here, Madam Speaker, here is, I wanted to observe the member for Serekunda that when people put question to the minister.
I'm not saying you are right or wrong, but that ought to have been raised at the time.
Because I requested, I requested the floor.
Just a second, at the time, but you're reading closure of debate. No debate has closed yet.
Here,
so I will overrule that, please.
The member for Serekunda
there is no need to prolong.
There
is no need to prolong this because it's not an issue.
Point
we're
of
not
order.
together. We're not on the same wavelength. This is closure of debate. What he has referred to is closure of debate. No debate has closed yet.
Point of
for a
order.
mover to be called upon to respond. So, honourable member for Lower Salum, you are overruled. Who was on the floor?
Honourable Speaker.
Combo is. Can I please allow? No. It's Kiang. It's Kiang. Sorry.
All right.
Honorable Speaker, somebody is raising point of order. Can you give him the opportunity, please?
I have
yes,
a point
but
of
you are
order.
not directing me to take honorable member for Serekunda, am I? No. If he wants to raise a point, everybody has been given a chance.
Yes, Honorable.
Nobody has ever been denied a chance.
No.
Am I right or wrong?
You are right.
Yes, so if he wants to raise a point, he can raise his tag and then refer us to the relevant section and we proceed. Because as I always say, nobody has monopoly over knowledge. We are always guided by our collective will here. And if A is wrong, B might come on and show us the right that we should do A. Let's look at A, B, and C. But I don't want the impression to be given that anybody is being denied. Thank you. Serekunda, what do you want?
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I was raising a point of order against the member mentioning my name and attaching me to something that has nothing to do with me, because I've always intervened under Standing Order 32, which says very clearly...
But Honorable, my only point there is that I had overruled him. So the issue is expunged from the record.
Well, it's okay.
Period.
It's okay. It's okay.
Thank you.
And I hope you refer to Standing Order 32.
Thank you, yeah. Kiang is, yes, thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to take part in this historic debate. Indeed, It's a historic moment for all of us here. Before I begin my intervention, I would like to put on record that I am one of those National Assembly members who is going to vote in favor of this new draft constitution. Honorable Speaker, may I say that should anything happen to me before the vote is taken, please, I want honorable members to remember me as one of those who are in favor of this bill. Why? Because it represents the wishes and aspirations of my people. Since this whole issue came up, I have never received a single call from my constituency denying or rejecting this draft constitution. All the calls that I received so far have urged me to support this. So I am doing it on the basis of that, actually, and on the basis of the greater good of the Gambian people. Having said that, Honorable Speaker, let me begin by appreciating all the efforts invested into this constitution by the CRC. Lest we forget, it is this very National Assembly who in December 2017 passed the CRC Act to have the 1997 Constitution reviewed. Now, why did we want to review the 1997 Constitution in the first place? It is because it was found to be defective. There were a lot of defects in that Constitution. It has been amended over 50 times. And when this new government, of course, and the National Assembly came into existence, one of the fundamental changes that we wanted to do was to change the 1997 Constitution. And for me, honestly, I find it quite intriguing that the same National Assembly members who spoke in favor of reviewing the Constitution are now turning around and trying to condemn the National Assembly Constitution, the new draft Constitution. I definitely find that intriguing. Honorable Speaker, you know, this whole exercise has been a very, very expensive one. A lot of material resources was invested in it. A lot of human resources was invested in it. And a lot of financial resources was invested in it to a tune of over $116 million. Now, rejecting this constitution is like, you know, sending all that money into the drain. This is something that we need to look at properly. One of the aims of the Constitution, if I may read from my notes, is that the CRC stated clearly in their executive summary that the constitutional review was meant to uphold and respect for the rule of law and fundamental human rights, ensure democratic participation in national affairs, provide a solid foundation for good governance, and establish governance institutions. If these reasons are not enough to convince anybody to support this constitution, I don't know what else would. Because what I've just read are actually some of the fundamental errors or some fundamental flaws that the 1997 Constitution did not address. So we constituted the CRC to address those issues. And now we are turning around and saying, no, this is not good enough. This is something I just cannot understand. Honorable Speaker, when the CRC set out to work on this draft constitution, they consulted extensively in the Gambia and outside of the Gambia. And every single Gambian who cared to contribute any idea was given the opportunity, including this very National Assembly members. We have been engaged. We were given opportunities to contribute And today, what is happening? None of us here would say that the consultation process was discriminatory. I don't think, because all the communities were visited in the Gambia and further afield. The consultation was extensive. And nobody would say, well, we are going to reject this constitution based on the fact that, you know, the ideas of Gambians who cared to contribute anything was not considered. Nobody would say that. And now today, we are here talking as if nothing happened before, as everything was imposed on us. This is not fair. We cannot trivialize all the efforts of these great men and women of the Gambia who drafted this constitution, who contributed everything to make sure that they provide us with a constitution that is better than the previous one. How can we trivialize their efforts? I was listening to the debate yesterday, and I was disappointed at some of the statements that are uttered here. One of which is that the Constitution was plagiarized. Those who spoke about plagiarism did not mention, may not necessarily mention the word plagiarism, but when you say you cut and paste, that essentially is plagiarism. That this constitution is a plagiarized constitution from the Ghanaian constitution. And in academia, lest they don't know, plagiarism means taking somebody's work or somebody's idea and pass it on as your own. But when you use somebody else's ideas or somebody else's work and you acknowledge it, that's not plagiarism. I think they need to educate themselves about plagiarism. So it's not a plagiarized constitution. And there is nothing wrong to borrow ideas from other ideas. We always adopt and adapt to suit our own situation. That is what they have done. That's not plagiarism, in case they don't know. Honorable Speaker, another issue that came up during the debate was on citizenship. A lot of people have expressed concern about citizenship, both within this assembly and outside of the assembly. But for me personally, this is my personal opinion, that citizenship must be jealously guarded. We have to protect our citizenship. You know, every country has their own peculiarities. So what is good in Uganda is not necessarily going to be good for the Gambia. So we have to understand our own peculiarities when it comes to that. Gambia is one of the smallest countries in Africa, yet one of the most populated countries in Africa. So we cannot allow our citizenship, we cannot just open the floodgates for everybody to come and become a citizen, automatically through birthright. Of course, the Constitution is clear. Nobody is barring anybody from acquiring Gambian citizens, and that's clearly stated. There are channels, there are legal ways of doing it through either registration or naturalization. So I don't see anything wrong with that, Honorable Speaker. And then there is also the issue of ministerial appointments being confirmed by the National Assembly, and so many people expressed dissatisfaction with this particular law when it comes into effect. But for me, this is complementarity between the executive and the judiciary, not necessarily politicizing the whole exercise. When the executive nominates people for the ministerial position, they are brought to the National Assembly for vetting and confirmation. For me, that is complementarity. We're not necessarily going to subject anything to politics. But because, definitely we do have a lot of different political parties represented here. So I don't think nobody is going to politicize it, if indeed the nation's interest is important for us. We will not politicize that appointment. I'm going to keep it short, and then Honorable Speaker, I just, with a final note, I would just want to say that rejecting this draft constitution is going to be one of the fundamental failures of this National Assembly and this government. It's going to be a fundamental failure for this National Assembly and the government. And it is also going to be a lack of respect for the Gambians whose wishes and aspirations we say we are representing in the National Assembly. So, Honorable Speakers, I would urge each and every one of us to vote in favor of this draft constitution. On that note, Honorable Speaker, I beg to take my seat. Thank you.
Honorable Member for Tumana.
I wanted to thank CR to usher in the Third Republic. And again, thank my fellow National Assembly members for the entire process too, because it was in a fateful day, or in a fateful month of December in 2017, the National Assembly of the Gambia established a Constitutional Review Commission to draft the country's third constitution. Both the current government and citizens appear to give or to agree that give numerous amendments to the Constitution and several undemocratic provisions. Developing a new Constitution that will meet the wishes and aspirations of the Gambians and the need for new Constitution cannot be overemphasized, Honorable Speaker. I really wanted to also take part in the debate. A lot have been said since last week up to now. But anyway, I believe with this draft constitution, we have the destiny of this country at hand or on our shoulders. We either preserve it or we throw it away. The destiny of this country is this draft constitution. And I believe as the member of parliament or members of parliament and people representatives, we should really support this draft constitution. On my behalf, and on behalf of the people of Tumana constituency, I am in support of this draft constitution. Honorable Speaker, the reason is this constitution is not my constitution. It's not the constitution of this parliament. It's not the president's constitution, neither the entire executive constitution, but this is the constitution of the people of the Republic of the Gambia. Because looking at the report, what the CRC told us here, the way and the manner, or the procedures that they followed to draft this constitution, that's the public consultations. That was very key, and we are all aware what has happened in this country. The CRC went around this country, the length and breadth of this country. You talk about the consultations in the Gambia, the face-to-face stakeholders consultations, focus groups discussions, face-to-face interviews, household surveys, public participation platforms. What else do we need? What else are we asking for? as the people representative. If this is not enough, what else are we asking for as people representative? Please, honorable colleagues, the world is moving and the Gambia is not really moving. One of the reasons why we are not moving is because of the law that we have. It does not test, it does not serve the interests of the people of this country. And for us to build a better Gambia, we have to have a constitution that is going to serve for the supreme interests of this country, and that's the people. We are not only here to represent ourselves, we are here to represent the people of this country, that's the Gambian people. I believe that this document is in the supreme interest of the people of this country. If I have one or two things in the Constitution that did not favor us, and in fact, I have them in this Constitution. I have some of the clauses that did not favor me as an individual. But that does not necessarily mean that I should go against this entire Constitution. If I do that, means I am nothing but a disappointment to the entire nation. As a young man and as a young representative, I am seeing what is happening, the realities in other countries, even in our neighboring country here, Senegal. If the people, the long-serving parliamentarians in this parliament, did not give us the genesis of what has transpired in this country, I would not even know. The 1997 Constitution, then I was 7 years old. But we have all seen what has transpired in this country, the processes that it follows, and the processes that we want this one to follow. It's like the East and the West, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, like many people talked about the term of the president. I think this is very simple. The president, the current president of the Republic of the Gambia, unless if he did not want to stick to his words, he said he don't know anything about the affairs of government. He only wanted to serve the people of this country just for 3 years. But he is now given 5 years. If I was in his shoe, or if I am in his shoe, what is wrong if they did not include my current term in this draft constitution? Should I kill myself about that? I am not saying that's what he is doing, but many are defending on that dimension. And if we should do that, mean we are not doing justice to the people of this country. Today, a lot of people are following political parties. But politically, people are not aware. You go to this draft constitution and you compare it with the 1997 constitution, the NCCE 299, subsection 3. (299), Madam Speaker, subsection 3. Yeah, it's 138. You read about subsection 1, you read about subsection 2, you read about subsection 3, and you compare it to the 1997 Constitution. I believe the people of this country are not, majority are not politically aware. But this Constitution wanted to make it, or wanted to give the people the opportunity to be politically aware, to know what is really happening. Even with this draft constitution, people know, many majority of people don't even know what we are doing. But you compare this to the 1997 Constitution. Honorable Speaker, you go to the Section 296, the National Youth Development. I am a young man, a youth for that matter. This Constitution has catered for me, different from the 1997 Constitution. I should not only just follow the ambience of politics. I should not just only be clapping. I should not also just only be singing and dancing. But I am catered for in this draft Constitution. You go to the political representation. The 10% of the youth has to be, for every political party, should have 10% representative in this National Assembly. I think this is something that has given the opportunity to young people of this country to come and represent themselves and tell the people the way and the manner they want to be ruled. You talk about women representation. This is a very good constitution, Honorable Speaker. And I believe the people, the honorable members of this House will really support this constitution to get to the people. Either they accept it or not, that's left to them. But we have to pass this constitution to the people. Honorable Speaker, the amount of money spent in drafting this constitution is huge. The constituency, without a health center, 116 million can build first-class health center in my constituency. We want that money to go in vain like that. That should not be. Please, honorable members, I believe you are going to support this. I am with the conviction, I am really optimistic that you people are going to support this, honorable members. Please, let us support this draft constitution. It is the constitution of the people. Please, every Gambian is watching. Every Gambian is watching, and they want to know what we are going to do here today. Please, honorable members, let us support this draft constitution, because it is the constitution of the people. I think, Honorable Speaker, I wanted to buttress on certain points, but I think there is no need because majority of the members have spoken on those areas. So for that being the case, okay, the section 157, I think this is very important. I am here representing the people of my constituents, who are Fulas, Mandinkas, Wolof, Sarahules, and any other tribe. But they really want to know what I am saying in this parliament. So to introduce a local language or national language in the parliament, to speak to them in the language that they understand, they know what I am saying. This constitution has catered for that. This is why I said this is the people's constitution, Honorable Speaker. Looking at the 1997 Constitution, if anyone wants to defend 1997 Constitution as your legacy, I am telling you, you are defending a very bad legacy. There are a lot of things in that 1997 Constitution that did not couple with our current realities as a nation. On that note, Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you.
Honorable members, we still have some more interventions, and it's almost getting to 2:30. So I'm just thinking of suspending this session for a short break so that we can stretch our legs. And if you agree, we come back at 3:30. Any suggestions? It's a proposal.
Let's have 2 more interventions.
Yes? Okay, so thank you very much. In that case, I will suspend the sittings and we will resume at 3:30 to continue with the debate. We still have some couple of honorable members to make their interventions. Thank you. We suspend.
Huh? Okay, bita. No problem. Kalau fangin na masuk WhatsApp, after ngi final. Ha. Ni nga ko tere ngadi la. Ha? Amanya kan.